You can still hear me.
Game over.
And what is up? Welcome back to another Friday night here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with two very special friends of mine. Brian D, of course, my co-host with the most. Brian, what is up, my dude?
Yo, what's going on, Chris? How's everything? How's everything with you this week, man?
Good. We're doing super good. We got a really exciting show. We got some good people on. We also am joined here with a really good friend of ours, the man behind the Ninja Land Party, the retro king of the valley, the retro gaming king, Michael Murphy. Mike, what is up, my dude?
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Appreciate being here.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. We have to give a shout out to you because, man, straight up, very cool. You hit me up that you had a friend of yours that you went to that you have a really long history with, and I did not know. I heard of these guys. I heard about him and the director that was from here because, of course, with the South Texas film festivals and all this other stuff, they're really well known down here. And you reached out to a gentleman and got him on the show. I've been telling people about him for weeks. Of course, we were supposed to have him on about 2 weeks ago. I ended up coming down with a slight case of almost death with pancreatitis, but I ended up pulling through. Went to work this week. Got a hold of him again. He said that he was down for coming on the show. And guys, without further ado, I want to bring him on because we don't have him for a long time, but we do have him for a good amount of time. Guys, bring in Rick DiaZ. Rick, how you doing, my man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, man. Again, thank you to Mike for reaching out to you and asking you to be on the show. Super cool, man. Tell us about yourself and tell us where you're from. Of course, being from the 956, the Cuff family, we want to know a lot, man. We want to know where you came up and your upbringing down here, your favorite taco places and all that good stuff. So hit us up, man. Let us know what's up about you.
Oh, man, a loaded question. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for having me. Michael, thanks so much for putting us all together. I'm glad to be here. I grew up in Far, Texas. My family moved to Mission. Went to high school with Michael.
Played football. Receivers. We were both receivers in that same team.
Both receivers.
One district, 12 years. Yeah.
It was such. I loved growing up in the Valley. I mean, it was such a unique place, and it really kind of informed so much of who I am as a person. I think it would have been nice if it had been a little bit more diverse. It was a little bit of a shell shock, like leaving the Valley for college the first time. But I'm hearing that that's changing, which is great. But man, I miss my botanas. I miss my chicken cheese avocado.
What was your favorite botana at?
Back in the day, it used to be, La Mexicana on, what was it? The one in Far, the one off of business.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably still there, man.
It's not. I know. I checked. Oh. I was back home late last year, and I they closed. It killed me. They had a couple other locations, and they all closed down too. So that's a shame.
Taco Olé has always been my favorite. It's even from a young kid or whatever. They're still open.
Yeah, Taqueria Zarape was a favorite because my older sister, really liked that place. So it was just always around.
Were you here for like Taco Palenque, like the rise of Taco Palenque in the valley, or you'd already left to
Yeah.
Austin by that time?
No, that was around too. My sister ate that. My sister was the taco fiend. You know, I mean, I feel like for me it was always a botana or a Mexican plate. That was what I always wanted. I wasn't after the tacos growing up. It was always like, I want a chalupa, I want an enchilada, I want rice and beans, I want the soup.
Yeah, man, the good stuff.
And after I'm done with that, I want to eat the leftovers of the botana that like my family
that everyone else leaves behind and stuff.
Yeah, that was my
So you got to answer the lifelong question, because everyone in the valley everybody asks this to people that do not live here, but there is that giant argument of the In-N-Out burger versus the Whataburger.
Listen. Wait. Before you finish,
you guys is from Jersey, so this
is an out of towner talking now, right? In-N-Out, I'm sorry, it has nothing on Whataburger.
It's garbage.
Nothing. It has nothing.
Hardcore, dude.
Not
Rick, what do you think, man? I mean, you've had the opportunity, man. You've been out there, man.
Been in Cali a long time now, Rick.
15 years as of.
Don't say it.
November.
Don't say it.
All right. Here we go.
I'm not trying to hear you out.
Hold on. Fair enough. But let me at least make one point that is empirical. Argued with, unfortunately, which is In-N-Out is the most consistent drive-through brand on the planet. Hold on. I'm not done. Let me finish this thought. But the burger is always hot. It's always melty. It's always like gooey and like there's like juice kind of meat. And it's every single time. And for that, I give them all the credit in the world. Ooh. So whenever a Cali person's like, hey, go have your In-N-Out, you know they're getting a good In-N-Out burger. However, at Whataburger, if you get one that's like that, it is the best fast food burger on the planet. However, what happens is that when you send your friends to go get it, and they get the soggy,
Rick, that's life. That's life. Sometimes you get a soggy burger in life, bro.
Of course, but how does In-N-Out do it? How are they able to always consistently get it hot and fresh and gooey? If Whataburger could figure that out, I would never have to have it, because I do the same thing, Brian. I gotta fight people. Like, I'm telling you, Whataburger is the best burger on planet Earth. There's just it's just better. And everyone's like, I tried it. It wasn't that great. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, it was like cold and the cheese hadn't melted. I was like, okay, well, I can't argue with that, because it's just the facts. Like,
man,
In-N-Out's consistent, and I give them credit for that.
In the last 2 years, Whataburger made that deal where they were going to start going nationwide. And there's already videos of people that they open up their Whataburger, and there's like a 4-hour line. Waiting line for a Whataburger.
But you know what? If I saw a line at Whataburger, I would actually get in line for it, because then I know it's being made fresh. You know what I mean? They're not like sitting on a shelf somewhere.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my only point to that.
Staffing and COVID and like demand, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have seen like during the freeze, we had like that terrible freeze for like a week. I mean, the water they were feeding the valley, etc. Like there was huge demand, huge lines. Every burger that came off was fresh, etc. I would say their consistency has improved as far as the I came back from Mexico plenty of times to a soggy Whataburger, etc. Especially if you were like the grilled chicken, and I get that, but it's still just it has that special feel. I don't know, like it's a nostalgic flavor for me, because like when I taste a Whataburger, I taste like coming out of Mexico.
It's home,
right?
I taste home. That's what I taste when I have Whataburger. Was the burger we got? This is the family. We all wanted Whataburger. It was a double meat, double cheese, no onion, toasted bun, cut in half, and jalapeno whole on the side. That's that's my order, and it'll never.
They started pirating them in Reynosa, and they would create like pirate Whataburger buildings in Reynosa. So they were trying to capture on to like the valley's kind of craze for Whataburger, and yeah, it was wild. You can still see pictures of them on the net.
So with all this talk, it makes us all hungry. But going back to the conversation, though, but thank you for answering that question. I like to always ask that question of people. Rick, tell us about how you got into filmmaking and cinematography in the first place. What inspired you?
I mean, I'll try to condense this story. I'm terrible at telling it. I mean, for me, it was Superman the movie. Donner's Superman was a really big influence on me. I think I just grew up at a time when it was really easy to sort of get questions I had answered. For instance, that movie, it's dedicated to Jeffrey Unsworth, who passed away during the making of that film. And for many years, I watched that intro that I love. And I saw that and I didn't quite know who that was and why he got to get the single title card for dying, essentially. And, at some point, my interest in filmmaking from that was like, oh, I want to be a director, or like, oh, I want to be an actor. Those are things I knew, right? I didn't know a lot of the other jobs that like percolated outside of sort of those two things we all hear about. Mm-hmm. And so I was making, Michael, you probably remember, I was out in the halls shooting videos. I was president of the Video Tech Club. I was in theater, but I was always tinkering with cameras, playing
modeling in high school, didn't you? I can remember, I can remember, like, I can remember girls in the hall talking about you, etc., wow. And having to deal with like that jealousy. Of, I'll murder him. Like, I'll murder him.
Wow, man, this is cool. Yeah. It's interesting to hear that too, because I was like 6'2", 160, man. I was a twig, I mean, I didn't see myself that way. I was like skinny. I was like lanky. So I just didn't see myself that way. I saw myself.
The whole modeling thing.
An athlete, but we were both athletes too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I saw myself as a twig, but I still saw myself as an athlete. I was 5'7" athlete, Rick. I didn't sit in the same class. The extra inches helped.
Played the same position. Yeah.
The extra inches helped. I won't lie. But yeah, it was funny because I felt like I was sort of in like a lot of worlds. I was a nerd. I was president of the Video Tech Club. You can't deny what I was. But yeah, I also played sports and I was also in theater and I did a lot of stuff. Again, I didn't model in high school. That was something I dabbled in middle school, but I just got really interested in like media and all that stuff. So flash forward, internet, AOL 3.0, 2.0, I don't know, whatever. I go like, who's this Jeffrey Unsworth guy who, they got a credit in Superman? And it was like, he was the director of photography on the movie. And that little bit of information helped me just kind of dig into like, what does the DP or the cinematographer do on these movies? And it turned out it was all the things that a director does as well, but that I focus on. And I realized I'm not so great at talking to actors and I'm not so great at that stuff. I really like the nerdy tech stuff, right? The camera, the lighting, the post-production of it all, the part that I do, and the illusion of it all, right? Like we create tricks. Like part of Jeffrey Unsworth's job was to make us believe a man could fly, and he crushed it, like those, especially in that time, those effects were groundbreaking. It was the highest grossing movie of its time outside of Star Wars. And, like that was kind of the impetus, and I just kind of took it. So in high school, I knew I wanted to be a DP. And when I went to college, I just said, I don't want to direct. I don't want to do any of the other jobs. I want to be the cinematographer. And I just focused on it from there on out.
Cool. That is super rad. So where did you go to school for it?
I went to UT, in-state, man. I couldn't afford. Let me take that back. I didn't want to go into debt to go out of state.
Nice. Good way to put it.
Yeah, I didn't want to go into debt to go out of state. So I did, I just did UT's program. I did not get into the film program. I just got into the school. But I was confident when I got there that, if I applied and I showed them all the movies and, because my grades weren't great. I was outside the top 10%. And I'm not even sure how I got into the university at all, to be honest. But once I did,
you talk to Duncan, like the class president, like
Duncan Johnson,
because he wanted to be a director as well. And I can remember him talking about like he was the one person I ever heard in high school say I want to be a director at like before he left high school. I knew he wanted to be kind of an actor, but I recall like that just kind of tidbit.
Yeah, Duncan. I didn't. We weren't super close, Duncan and I. But I hope he's out making stuff. I hope he's doing.
I hope he's making films. Yeah,
cool shit wherever he is.
Hope he's doing good, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to UT, and that's actually where I met David Blue Garcia from the 956, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, that I got the pleasure of shooting with him. So
that's where I actually like reached to Rick and said, hey, can you come on the show and like put some stuff to bed? Because there was this long Facebook thread from like some local valets, and they were talking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre just come out. There was so much hype on it, and people were really, really excited about the fact that like they were like, oh yeah, like two guys from the valley made it, and we've been Facebook friends since high school, etc., and since Facebook was created, and I knew you talked about being the director of photography. I knew that you talked about a little bit about the director being from the Valley, and I was like, I just called you in. I was like, hey Rick, can you answer these questions? Because like I hate when people are wrong on the internet. I absolutely hate it. So and like Rick came in, responded to some questions, etc. I was like, hey, why don't you come on the show, because there's a lot of pride that people have in the Valley. About being, about having representation, like just on Netflix. We were so proud. Like 2 things happened on Netflix. There was Tiger King, where McAllen showed up, like downtown McAllen showed up.
Yeah. I remember that.
People went nuts for that for no fucking reason, dude. No
and then
reason.
my very like first specific question to you is, how do you feel about Selena, the Selena series that came when they represented Brownsville, Texas, which you didn't grow up in, but it's only an hour.
Mountains?
Yeah,
where do those mountains come from?
Yeah, I don't. That is not Brownsville, Texas, man.
It's like the flattest place on earth.
How does that happen? I mean, how does that happen? Like, how does like just such a garish thing? Because you got to figure people from the Valley are going to see that, right? And like, man, that was maddening. It was one of the most maddening.
Well, that was equivalent to what was that movie that they did with the Spy Kids guys? Robert Rodriguez made that other movie, and the kid came out of South Padre Island. But like, there's like a volcano in the back and all this. So yeah. One of the kids literally comes out. One of the heroes comes out in the South Padre Island. He's like a volcano mountain. Looked like Hawaii, and I was like, yo, these guys have never been to spring break, dude. These guys have never touched this place.
Yeah, they've never been stuck in traffic on the drag during spring break.
Or that was what was the other one? Sicario. Do you remember Sicario did a scene where they were like in McAllen, and there's hills and shit in the back, and I was like,
I was gonna say,
but I love that movie.
But the fucking Sicario movie slaps, dude.
What did you say about that movie?
Good.
Yeah. But I won't get too far. But so does Prisoners. I don't know if you saw that same director's. His following movie was Prisoners, which Hugh Jackman's amazing. So my opinion on the whole like Selena mountains. I made Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Bulgaria, dude. Like, unfortunately, it's an economics thing. It's all money. I mean, people, understandably, like they're taking risk, and where they're gonna go where they feel like they can mitigate some of that. And I'm sure wherever they shot Selena was probably New Mexico, as a product of tax rebates and like money windfalls. So. I mean, you just do your best and you try to just laugh about it a little bit. Like, I do think a big part of the reason David and I were brought in to Chainsaw was because I don't know if you guys read up on the history of how David and I ended up on the movie, but like, there was a team that was let go from the project, Irish brothers and an Irish DP. And I think a big part of it was like they didn't know how to bring a little bit of Texas to Bulgaria, and it was hard enough as it was, but like not having people from Texas, I'm sure made it even more difficult. And I think that was a big part of the reason that we were brought on at that point, is because we could bring a little bit of our
the flavor, man,
sensibility and our flavor, to the movie. So yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm never gonna touch J-Lo's Selena. So
yeah,
I mean, in the same way, like, look, I love our version of Chainsaw. Like, I love our version of Chainsaw. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's loud. But like, we weren't also trying to redo the first movie because that's already been done.
So that's actually a question that I wanted to ask you. Did you feel any pressure knowing that you're doing a remake? Was there any pressure whatsoever to try to live up to the not the hype, but the name of Texas Chainsaw? Like, did you have any of that pressure?
Yeah. I mean, I know Kim Henkel from another movie I did like a long time ago, and he was one of the co-writers of the movie with Tobe Hooper, the original movie. And I had some great conversations with them those years ago about the main timeline, the Chainsaw timeline. And I went to UT. So did Toby. So did Daniel Pearl, who shot the original movie. So did Henkel. I mean, they're all Longhorns who had just graduated. And so there was this pride of like, I want to do it justice. But, at the point that David and I came in, the script was written. I mean, they had already started shooting, and then they let go of the other team and we came on. So, the script was the script. And so we couldn't change those elements, right? Like, we couldn't be like, well, let's bring the Sawyer family into this. We can't, right? Because we were kind of brought on a little later in the process. But like, we read the script and we're like, let's make this the most entertaining version of this script that we can possibly make.
I like that.
Because that's the position that we're in. And again, we're not it's not 1974, and a big studio does not want us to make the movie look like the low budget grindhouse film that the original is. And it's perfect that way. Like, why would we mess with that? So for us, it was about creating something that felt like it had some of the ingredients of the first film, but we were able to bring a more modern sensibility to it. And look, they spent good money on that film. It needed to look like it, you know. And I heard great things about Ty West's new movie X. And
yes,
that's
yes.
Yeah, that's one of those horror films where you go like, you know what? Good for them. That's the way. If you want your movie to be like Chainsaw and really follow up in that legacy, like, then do that. Go make that movie. And I'm glad they did, because it seems like a wonderful homage to those grindhouse slashers of bygone eras, those sort of lower budget vibing films. I'm excited to see that film. I actually can't wait to check it out. But I mean, I love Texas. I love our version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's bloody, it's fun, it's entertaining. It asks some serious questions, but doesn't answer them, because the truth is like, who really has the answer? And in the country and times we live in, like, those things, you're going to run into those things.
I do appreciate you shouting out Daniel Pearl, by the way. Jersey guy, all this Valley talk you guys are talking. We got a shout out from a Jersey guy, so I did appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh man, the guy's a genius. Clearly, I mean, you know, he's been in the business for so long. He even shot the remake, the 03 remake.
Yeah, he did the original.
He did the original and he did the 03
remake. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of big shoes to fill.
So going off of what you just said, so when they brought your guys' team in, everything had already been kind of set in stone on what was already to be done, right? If you and Blue had your opportunity, what are things that you might have changed about the Texas Chainsaw from what they wrote to kind of give it your own different type of flavor if you had that creative input?
Oh man, you know, as the DP, I don't really get to like influence the script in any real way, unless I have a relationship with the director who's also maybe writing it. But you know, David and I, again, we got brought on so quickly. A lot of it was really just, how do we make this version of it better? We didn't really have a whole lot of opportunity to talk about how we could change the one that we were on as much as it was, how do we make this one great? But you know, I'm really hoping that, I mean, the viewing numbers were really good, and I'm really kind of crossing my fingers that they greenlight us all, and David can really get in there and, you know, write the movie that he would want to see. I mean, he made the movie he wanted to see, but to make something that also had his sort of underlying story and what have you going forward.
How's that affect you? When one of the first reviews I read was not I watched you from Facebook talk about the release of the movie. One of the first reviews that I'd read was not a positive review, and it wasn't anything on cinematography at all. Everything had to do with, you know, someone's specific opinion about script, about not enough fan service for the nostalgic movie, which I thought there was. Like, but as a DP, is like you as a personal person, right? Like, you're not the entirety of the team, etc. You want to see the movie succeed. But everyone I've heard, you know, I was talking to a friend who is a horror fanatic, and she is obsessed with the movie, and she watches it, you know, 2 or 3 times a day. Everyone I've heard who is a horror fan and not necessarily like a review intellectual has been extremely positive about it. But just in your own opinion, like, how do you handle a bad review? I'm sure on all of your work, you've probably seen musings.
Of course, you're going to come across all of that stuff.
But it's so rare to hear about. Well, unless it's like bashing on J.J. Abrams' lens flare, like, there's very little be like, I didn't like how that shot was framed or shot, or the you know, frames per second, etc. How do you handle that?
Oh man, it's like they're like your kids, you know. You kind of, I don't have any children. I just haven't gotten around to that quite yet. Hopefully my wife and I will at some point. But if we don't, we have babies, right? We make these movies. They kind of become your life for several months at a time. And, you know, it hurts to hear people not like something. But if I've learned anything over the time I've been doing this, is that even as a fan, you know, like, you can't please everybody, and you just have to understand that, like, not everyone's going to get, you know, there's people who love Man of Steel. I mean, just like love that movie. And I get it. I totally get it. I just don't.
I'm just
like
not that dude.
I'm just not that dude. And honestly, I'd rather watch the trailers to that movie than the movie. I thought the trailers were amazing, and it gave me so much hope. But and that's not to say that Zack Snyder's not an unbelievably great filmmaker. It's just that movie wasn't my taste. So I just take it in stride, man. Like people are gonna hate and people are going to love, and there are definitely people who love the movie, and I'm one of them. And I think I think you can see the love and the fun we had. David brought a real sense of humor in small places to the film, and I really appreciate that because it's so bloody. That whole
the bus scene.
The bus scene.
The bus scene.
The bus scene is
how was that? How did
that was David, man, and I thought that was a wonderful bit of catharsis. The movie is so intense up to that point. And so just to have someone just offhandedly say something that I'm sorry, I 100% believe someone would say in that situation, I thought was just a really genius bit of levity in the movie that I think it needed.
Well, Flesh had so many puns. I hadn't even seen it. A friend I was talking to told me about we were talking horror and just the usage of puns like dad jokes, etc. Like in the uses of the movie and how it had made this really really great effect and whatnot. So adding humor into a horror, I mean it's it's done Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, before that you can really upgrade a horror flick with some of those elements. Absolutely.
Well, but also those were my favorite horror movies growing up. I mean, I loved the straight face slashers, but the 19th sequel of all of those franchises got campy, and I loved that shit. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love it. I love that
every week,
all the time. It's hilarious, but it's still terrifying, and at the same time, you can still have a good time laughing at it. And I like softer stuff like Gremlins 2 and Gremlins 1, and they're just silly. And all the Chuckies. Are you kidding me? I quote Bride of Chucky to this day. It's still a movie I go I give them 6 months, 3 if she gains weight. It's hilarious.
I've had the opportunity to talk to several people, and of course, everybody kind of has the same type of weird gripes, right? And they're always some weird superficial detail on why they don't think the movie's all that great. But watching the film for what it is, it's a great slasher film. It really is. It kind of gives homage to the old slasher style films, and I'm not trying to brown nose or anything like that, but the cinematography was really, really great. The cornfield scene when he's there doing the Leatherface thing, when he pops up out of the field, the uppercut with the chainsaw, like the way that shot was an upshot downwards. There was a lot of amazing things that was done in that film that were very cool. The one thing that caught my eye, and it's about the bus scene, where there was a Shining reference where he cuts the hole in the door and he looks in, and you get that kind of from The Shining, from Jack Nicholson's The Shining, right? But it wasn't that. What got me was when the guy that was in charge of the bus leaves and they get the head thrown back in and the chick's tripping balls, you get that small little minor walk by of Leatherface, hey man, I'm coming into the bus, man. I'm coming in, guys. It's not one of those he just magically appears. There's some form of realism to the way you made the Leatherface character, that there's this much of the whole, is he a Jason, Michael Myers, where he can magically teleport? Or is this dude just literally trying to just get around and walk around because he's a 70-year-old dude that just got a little bit, he's a little stronger than normal. You know what I mean? I like
he's
that realism.
Lazy. That's why he throws the chainsaw at the end. He was
yeah.
No, that was the greatest thing ever. He just threw it.
Just threw it.
When he throws the hammer, when he chucks the hammer at the chick on the stairway, I was like, yo, this guy ain't fucking around, man. This guy's he's out for everybody. It's going to be good. But you know what? The realism of the character is what sold it for me.
Chris, 1 second. One scene that stood out to me as well was when the chick was upstairs in Leatherface's house, and she's underneath the bed, and that part was when it started getting the gravity of everything started weighing. How the hell is she gonna get out of this house? Yeah, that whole scene was shot perfectly done. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a lot of anxiety because for some odd reason I felt that was you can almost feel the anxiety for the girl because of how long she stayed in the house.
Yeah.
Like just how long she was stuck in the house hiding, like, because you're always waiting for that trope, that moment for him to like his face peeks out and he knows she's there and he grabs her and it never fucking happens. Like he starts putting on makeup, he sees all the other people, he's ready to go and bounce out on the town, and the chick's just, this chick's still stuck in the goddamn room, and you're like, dude, you got to get out of there. You
got to get out of there.
It was there was some really, really cool parts of the scene, and a lot of people, I kind of feel like people are just too anal about a lot of this stuff. They're expecting crazy Easter eggs. They're expecting it to be like, oh, well, remember this movie? It would be this guy, and 15 years later, he would be this much taller, and it's just real random shit, and they lose the fun of what these type of movies are supposed to be about.
And you know what, like, and it's so funny because I appreciate what you're saying, and at the same time, I'm going to play devil's advocate against myself because while I appreciate it, and you're 100% right. I think you gotta sort of love this chainsaw on its own merits, but like I'm that way about Superman, right? Like that's a part of my problem, like with the Man of Steel thing. It's this dumb thing in my brain where I'm like, I just want you to make a sequel to that one. And then they did that with Singers, and I was like, okay, no, but you didn't do it right. Like, do it again and better. And it's this, it's this bar that's like not going to be reached again because it's really hard to catch that lightning in a bottle again.
Yep.
And find another Christopher Reeve and Donner and get that tone the same and the tone right. And it's to some degree, it's going to be the same, I think, with Chainsaw going forward. There's just going to be folks who want it to be that first movie forever, and that's cool. That I get that you're fans and you love something and you love it, And I know that there's fans for Chainsaw like that in the same way that I'm a fan of that Donner Superman. So I just hope that others enjoy it for what it is, because I think Fede Alvarez, who and his writing partner Roto, and Chris Thomas Devlin, who wrote the screenplay, all those three came together in a room and came up with these ideas, so that it would be it'd be a really fun time, and that people who love especially practical effects would enjoy. Like, a lot of the movie is practical effects. It's sweetened with some visual effects, of course. You got to add a little. Can't actually put a chainsaw through people, as it turns out. We tested, but they could no longer act afterwards, apparently. So we did our best and tried to make a movie that was both scary but also kind of a little more up tempo. I mean, it's not. That first film, he chases Sally through the woods. It's an action sequence. We just did that and amplified it times 10. Yeah. Kaioken times 10.
Okay, so now I gotta jump to the other one now, man. Tell us about your times on Stranger Things.
Yeah. So I made a really, really small, awesome independent film called The Violent Heart, with a buddy of mine from UT, Karam Sangha. And on that movie, we had 21 Laps Entertainment was producing that film, along with a bunch of other really great people. One being Mr. Spider-Man himself, Tobey Maguire. But 21 Laps produces the show. And so I got to know some of the folks up there. I got to know Dan Cohen, who is an executive there, and Sean Levy, who directs some of this show and just did Adam Project and Free Guy and a bunch of other.
Dude, Adam Project
was
so
great.
Good.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? It gets the emotional core right. That's
it
so
does.
hard.
It really does.
It gets and I wanted the villain to be a little bit, but it's still so good.
But it was just enough.
But it was just enough, exactly. But the hardest thing that movies in the last 20 years haven't quite found is that emotional core, and Adam Project got it.
And the Adam Project knocked it out of the park. It really felt like a new version of it kind of the vibe of the Adam Project is very much like the way Stranger Things is, where it gives you that old teen adventure kind of story going on.
Yeah,
like a Goonies. You know what it reminded me of? Flight of the Navigator. It reminded me of Flight of the Navigator.
Gosh, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. I gotta rewatch that.
I love that.
Wow,
it explores too. It gives you that vibe where it just gives you a kid, and you just throw him in the middle of some very hardcore sci-fi things that are going on that he just can't understand. And that kid played Ryan Reynolds at a young age, precisely. That kid's going places hardcore, man.
And that scene where Adam talks to his mom when it's what's his face? It's Ryan and Jennifer, and he's talking to his mom like, it's going to be okay at the bar. I mean, that's the kind of like, oh, I care about these characters. Like I care about them. Yeah. And like, so I don't want anything bad to happen to them.
That was a hell of a scene, man.
Hell of a scene. Whole movie was great. So
what season did you come into Stranger Things on?
So I just did this. I just came in and helped on the new season. That's all that I have. So I was a fan of the show, season 1, 2, and 3. After I did Chainsaw, the folks at 21 Laps called me and said, out of nowhere, I was working. It was like, hey, Rick, you curious if you wanted to maybe hop on and do help us finish Stranger Things this season? I was like,
yeah. I don't know how to get the face. Right?
I'll shoot whatever you want. I'll shoot plates. I'll shoot the sky. I'll do whatever you want. Like, and my involvement at the beginning was, hey, come in, do, help just clean up some scenes because we're a little behind because of COVID. I mean, COVID really put them. I feel bad for the fans because, I feel bad for the world because of COVID. But like you've
got such really a tight time limit the actors' ages too, right? Because you've only
it's a lot of stuff. Really, kind of like put wrenches in the whole schedule and plan. But they got a little behind because of that, and then kind of all the restrictions on how many people could be here and there and where, and just slowed stuff down. But they were like, we really need another unit to shoot, this, help us finish the season. And I was like, so you're saying I get to actually shoot the show? Like I'm shooting real scenes. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh yeah.
Awesome.
That's so great.
Sign me up. So yeah, and so I got to do that over the spring and summer of last year, and that was amazing. And I really hope that they give me a call about the season 5, and I hope I get to help out a little bit on that one too.
Do you think that season 4? Here's my question: is season 4 going to get back to a like what's the end, Rick? Like give me the end, and is it going to get back
he's
to
fiending.
its
He's like
roots
scratching
of Dungeons and Dragons? Like I feel like after season 2, the whole like the show obviously has such a close bond in the start of like the opening scene, episode 1, playing Dungeons and Dragons in the basement, and the main characters being these prolific D&D characters. It feels to me in season 3
we're
like
avatars for those characters.
So I don't know. I want it to go there. That's my only gripe. That's my only like. I want it to
sure. I can't tell you the end.
Getting older. The kids are older.
Yeah, the kids are they're still calling them kids, but they're all not kids anymore. And I can't tell you the end. What I can say to your question is like, this is definitely the scariest season. It's written to be more leaning into horror as a genre.
Very cool.
And there's definitely a D&D. I mean, the Vecna character that I'm sure you've read in the episode titles is obviously a nod to the D&D character.
And Vecna, the Archleech Vecna, etc. Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah. And so those elements are kind of woven back into the season. And the Duffers wrote that little letter, but I remember when I got the scripts to read, I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this in 9 episodes. This is like so much. It's like
information.
5.
I can't stop watching it. I need 17 seasons, like Firefly.
Yeah, it was
I need every
so
season.
long. Yeah. I was like, this is like these are going to be like feature length episodes. Like, I don't know how they're going to. I understood also then why it was so much. It's why it took so long to shoot, because it was almost twice as long as a regular season. Wow. And it was just so much material, but it was so satisfying. I mean, the scripts were so good, and I really think it'll be worth the wait for everybody. And props to the rest of the crew and the cast. I mean, they really trucked through a really long production schedule, and I really stand by that. I think they did the best work that show's ever done. I was such a privilege to look at all the work of the other DPs and the units and all the cast are just amazing and super sweet, and they all love each other. And because they love each other, like the vibe just bleeds into the crew. And it was a great experience. And I really can't wait to see it with everybody else.
Throughout all your career, what's been your biggest starstruck moment?
Oh, wow. Man. That's a great question. Probably going to my first ASC Awards, which is the American Society of Cinematographers. You know, I got to go to, they have their own like awards show. And I know it's not I mean, it's a celebrity to me, but like, you know, getting to sort of be in the same room as Roger Deakins and meet him, and be in the same room as, you know, Emmanuel Lubezki, Chivo, who's a prolific and incredible Mexican cinematographer, and honestly a ton of other incredible cinematographers who were obviously at that event. But just that for me was pretty, like, you know, getting to kind of meet your idols. You know, in terms of celebrity, I don't know, man. I mean,
Olivia Munn. Come on, Olivia Munn. I mean, I know it was a commercial.
Okay, Olivia was awesome. She's a sweetheart, man. She's so cool. She was great. But I wasn't starstruck with her because she seemed so grounded and so normal and just like so approachable. And Winona was just like, she's like, oh my God, it's Winona. Oh my God. Oh. Like the movies I grew up watching, I mean, it was like, you know, it was just like, I mean, I barely got a word out. Like, that was it. And she'll never remember me, and that's okay. There's so many. I didn't say much. I was just like, hi. And then she left. And, you know,
hey, Rick, can I ask you a really quick question?
Yeah.
Are there any scenes from any movies or any show that you sat back and said, you know what, I'm kind of jealous of that. I wish I did that. I wish I, you know, shot this scene or shot this movie. Like, are you envious of anything that you didn't get to be a part of?
Oh God, all the time.
Like, let me get the list.
Like, dude, I don't even want to insult the rest of the you know filmmaking community starting a list, because then they'd go, why didn't you say me? And I was like, well, I probably would have if I could have remembered it.
You must see it so differently as a cinematographer, and you're like a DP, and how you have to frame shots, and the way, like, I just see a show, like I see a story, I see a show, etc. And like it must be a different experience. Like when you must be thinking about what's happening behind the camera and the technicalities of it. Like that's how I think about computers, which is my day job, right? And you must have such a different, you know, vision when you actually go through and watch it. That's wild to me. I'll never see it.
I can still watch stuff and turn off that part of my brain. I think it takes some time. Like early on in my career, yeah, I was always dissecting. I'm still learning. You're always learning in this business. Like no one scene looks the same twice ever. So, but yeah, like I definitely can turn my brain off, and I really enjoy. I don't think I could do this if it kept me from enjoying movies. It's like you said earlier, you know, like I couldn't do it if I couldn't enjoy it still. Yeah. And so and thankfully I'm able to still do that. Is if the movie's bad, or I don't want to say bad, but like if the movie's like not my cup of tea, then I might start like getting into like, okay, well, what is it that I'm not enjoying? And then, oh yeah, how'd they do that shot? Well, that was a great shot. I love how it was lit. You know, I mean, I go into that mode if I'm not engaged by the story. But otherwise, I mean, if it's something I'm digging, I can turn my brain off and just enjoy it. But I will say I have gotten more into like bad reality TV these days too, because I don't have to think about how it was shot, and it's just like
GoPros, you know, just GoPros and hidden cams, yeah.
Oh no, I mean I'm talking like it's Jen Shaw on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City getting arrested. You know, like it's true crime happening right in front of my eyes. I'll admit it. Like I got kind of into that stuff during the pandemic, and there's something to it. It's its own universe, by the way, guys. I hate to break it to you. It's a whole universe. Now, they got a whole multiverse there. Now
I kind of have to pick your nerd brain, because you mentioned Superman already about like 5 or 6 times, the old school Christopher Reeve Superman. How do you feel about Henry Cavill's Superman?
Oh man, you know, God, Henry he just looks the part, man. He just has all the attributes physically that I can imagine that you'd want for that character. And I think he fills the suit out well. And I think he's got that like he still has that boyish chin, yet it's somehow so squared.
So square.
But I just think that they didn't give him enough to act with. And so I can't tell if he's just not the right actor, not physically, like actor for it, or if they just never, or they just never wrote it well enough for him to act in.
For like the Clark role, right? Like kind of getting like the character to flesh out a little bit more.
All of it, even Superman. I mean, look, in Superman 2, what I'll give Richard Lester, who took over after Donner was fired, like he shot that whole downtown fight sequence, with Zod and Ursa and Nan. And, even as Superman, they gave Christopher opportunities to perform. He's being beaten. He can't win. He is backed up into a corner. They throw that bus at him. It smashes him. He comes out at the top, and he has that moment up there
where he gets to look around. And he scours. He looks at places. He puts emotional content into what he needs to do next. Henry Cavill doesn't have that. He's just always stern.
They just so gloom and doom, and it's so grim. And
it works in Witcher,
give him,
but maybe not as much.
Right,
it works really well.
But and again, it's not that I don't know if he can do it. I'm sure Henry probably could. They just never gave him those moments, and they never gave him an opportunity to give the audience a reason. Like, look, you can't hurt Superman. Like who are we kidding at this point? Like the only way you hurt Superman is by hurting the people around him, and that's what the Marvel movies get right half the time. Is that like you really care about everybody else just as much as you care about those characters. And if you want to hurt Superman, you hurt the people he loves, because he's that kind of person. And they never got his emotional core right. And because they never got his right, I don't care about the movies.
So we got a pretty cool question from one of our fans, Vince. He asks, what do you think of the new Lois and Clark series? If you've been able to see it.
I haven't seen it, Vince. I would like to start it, but I feel like because I didn't watch Supergirl or what I have not watched is any of the Arrowverse stuff. I'm completely clueless on all that. I'm not much of a television series kind of a person. I'm very much a movie person, and so I mean I've definitely watched some shows like I watched Game of Thrones because it felt like a bunch of movies all strung together. And like I love there's definitely TV shows I like, but I have not caught any of that Arrowverse stuff. That has not been on my radar. But
and we have another
I like the actor. He looks good. He
looks awesome. Yeah, he does an amazing role. Yeah, he looks amazing. Yeah. Another question that we got asked earlier by one of our other friends, Robert Flores, asks, what kind of other project movie would you like to work on next? You've had the opportunity to work on Texas Chainsaw. You've done Stranger Things and, of course, your own personal projects. Maybe another franchise, another large franchise. Is there anything out there that has your peak of interest?
I'm just a fan of movies. Like, I love all kinds of movies. And so, I just want to make something great next. That could be another little tiny indie that goes and plays a festival or something, or it could be a Marvel movie or a TV show or a DC something, or honestly, it could be another horror film. I just love movies, and I just want to make stuff I like. And so that's the kind of project I want to do next. But if you had to pin me to a corner, obviously my answer would be to do a Superman movie.
Yes. Hell yeah. I'll totally be up for that, man. I'll totally write a fucking, what is it? One of those petition. I'll get a petition to get you on that shit, man. I need fans on that shit. I need people who know the character.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And honestly, like there's been a lot of talk about what the direction Warner Bros. May be taking the next Superman. There's a lot of talk that it could be a black Superman, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Like absolutely. As long as you get the core right. I don't care what they make these characters. I don't care if they make Thor a girl. I don't care if they make Spider-Man a mutant alien. It doesn't matter to me. Like, for me, it's about the emotional core of all these characters, and that's what I love so much about them. That's just the thing on top. Like, the costumes have changed over the years, the hairstyles have changed over the years. What does it matter if it's a girl with boobs and a different an Asian person? Or I don't care. But I do care if you make it badly. That's what I care about. Just make it good.
Make it good. That's like literally our major theme here when it comes to this stuff. I must ask, being that you're literally considered a professional at filmmaking, because we're just average dudes. That's why we go by this show, The Average.
Dude, I'm an average dude too. That's why it's so funny to hear you say that out loud, because I don't really hear that often.
I must ask, what was your take on the new Batman film? Like, what was your take? Okay. I must ask this because I know you know your shit. I know you know your shit, but I have to ask.
Bless you. Well, for one, it's like beautifully photographed by Greg Fraser, who's also a genius. And
didn't he do
Dune?
Am I correct in that he did Dune, right? He did Dune, and the cinematography in Dune was
Dune is
gorgeous.
It's a masterpiece.
And they were drawing parallels. A lot of the scenes had like obvious touches of him, etc. And it's hard for, I think, a CP to get something that gets from maybe you could tell, but like that other public or other like critics and stuff can tell, right?
Yeah. I mean, I personally would much rather watch the Batman before watching the Dark Knight than Batman Begins, because I felt like, even though it's Twilight kind of, but with Batman, it's moody, and
I like Twilight. So
I loved. Fair enough. Hey, to each their own, man. I am not going to judge you on your movie taste. Like, I like some weird shit. So, but I really enjoyed the detective aspect of it, even if ultimately like that dude was not that far away or whatever. That was kind of weird. But like, I still enjoyed what the intent was. Like this is supposed to be like finally, it's like I got a movie about him being a detective. Which I kind of buy. And I love that first movie. I love the first like 2/3 of Batman Begins. And then that last third, just like, oh, he's a superhero. He's got more powers now than Superman. Like, he can't die. And he's flying around. He's, like, okay, whatever. But this one really grounded him and really almost made me believe that person in that costume could do what that person in that costume did. Okay. And I loved that about it, because I've always felt like Batman, in order to exist in the universe of the other characters, kind of became superhuman without being superhuman. Like, he's the smartest guy on the planet. He can outmaneuver everybody. He's
the preparedness, right? Like,
he's prepared. Like, dude, that's more ridiculous than saying. Honestly, so can I just say, like, that's more ridiculous to me than, like, I actually believe that there's probably in however millions of years an alien will find this place or will go somewhere else and be super powered somewhere else. I'm more likely to believe that my physiology somewhere else makes me better than everyone there. Then I believe that Bruce Wayne could singularly do all the things that the comics make him do. But as a detective,
dark side, etc. Like,
guys, come on,
like, shooting really well. Like, calm down. Yeah.
But I love the character Batman, because again, he comes from this like really his point of trauma is so strong, and we can all. I mean, I'm lucky enough not to have lost a parent, but I can imagine that, and I can imagine enough of that to be like, oh, I can see why that would make you want to do what you do and do it as well. And so him as a comic book character, as a detective, I really liked that. I really like that. What did y'all think? Well, I feel like I'm reading the room like y'all didn't.
No,
like
I loved it. I agree with you.
I liked it. I thought it was cool, man.
No, I shit all over that movie, man.
Yeah, Chris.
It's funny. The directors of this movie too saw it, and they were like, we liked other ones, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm alone.
I mean, for me, the only reason why. Okay, so I really believe that all the actors did amazing jobs individually for their characters. All the characters were amazing. At the ending of the film, I feel that the sequels have so much world build that they're going to have an amazing story to tell now. But I feel that they constantly reuse the same scenes in almost every other shot, that it almost kept making the city seem very small. And then Batman never solved anything.
But
Alfred is the one that solved all the cases. And then he only solved one thing.
Oh man, that's an interesting. I have to watch it again. Yeah. Interesting.
He only solves one thing, which is what the
even the cop solved the problem
or something.
Right?
Then the Penguin gives him an answer, and then when the Penguin tells him that it was La Rata or something like that, I forgot what he says in Spanish. Right? Him and Gordon leave him tied up, and they walk away. after he probably literally killed about 12 people on the expressway in a giant explosion. They didn't arrest the Penguin. They just let him chill out. And I was like, these guys aren't doing their job. Like, what the fuck are they doing, man?
Chris,
Like,
you said this movie.
Wait,
you said this Batman. You said this
crazy.
Batman. You said this Batman made Gotham City seem so small. For me, that was one of the best parts about that movie is Gotham City. This is like the best version of Gotham City I've gotten in any Batman movie.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the only thing that was very cool about this is that it did kind of bring you that weird that it's not either a New York or it's not a Gotham. It's like all these different places combined. Yeah. Like it gave you like this weird vibe that it's a real place. You just never been there. Where in the old Batman movies, they were like giant statues for no fucking reason, like 30,000 feet up in the air. Like I don't like. They were just like the weirdest things. Like what was the one in the freaking George Clooney movie? It was like a hand that was like in the middle of a building for no reason that they ramped off of. Remember?
Yeah.
Like there was just like random shit. Like the best Gotham City that I will never forget is the Tim Burton one. But then of course it was made for that cartoony Tim Burton vibe. It was really based on it had that real gothic-y vibe to it. It really fed on the nature of the dark essence of Batman, but him being of like the bat nature. This one had a lot of City of Angels, like the Crow vibe. Like there was a lot of shots that made it seem very wide, very bridge scenes with a lot of like the trash around the things, like around the neighborhoods. It made me feel like I was watching not the original Crow movie, but the second one.
City of Angels,
yeah, City of Angels. That's what it really, really reminded me of. But the only thing is like I mean, Rick, cinematographer, directing, being behind a camera. Every time he went to that bar, it was the same shot over and over again. Like. And that kind of
it worked for me. It worked for me. I like it.
But it does work. It does work. But when you catch it, when you see it and you look at it, you're kind of like, okay, cool. Like they could have done this a little bit different. Like they could have done.
You can pick so much about any.
Yeah, it's just nitpicking at that point.
You put on eyeshadows, so like other movies. Superhero like Spider-Man movies, you always feel the stress of like Spider-Man. Anytime he's not in, you feel the stress of like he's not saving lives. He can't go to his graduation. He can't go on a date with his girlfriend. He can't and I didn't necessarily feel the same stress, but it didn't bother me that much. Like I could pick that as a point and be like, he has time to put on eye makeup and stuff like that or whatnot. Okay, cool. But and like he's really comfortable out of costume or like spending a lot of time in crime scenes while like people are getting, all the other stuff. But you could pick it apart, but I still think overall it was great.
And then I just feel like there was a lot of time, like the time was a little too long on stuff. Like the shots were a little too long.
The movie's long in the tooth. There's no doubt about that.
And I think it was just that some of the shots were just kind of like a little bit longer than they needed to be. And I mean, you could have condensed them just by a little bit. It would have been a solid, 2 hour, 30-minute, 2:45 movie. Like a 3-hour movie is a little bit insane. Then the other thing I got to ask is if you guys got to see that deleted Joker scene, and what did you guys think of it?
It's funny. I just saw it. Like I saw it like an hour ago, like an hour before I got on.
And how do you guys feel about it?
I just didn't care.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know. It was just something that it was like it was so unnecessary.
Yeah. It's so unnecessary, and I'm actually glad they cut it.
I'm glad they deleted it.
It's not necessary.
I think they really, if they're gonna bring the Joker back, I think they really, really need to build him a little bit of a stronger. Because they did a really good thing with Heath Ledger. They put a lot of knowledge behind it, and they put a lot of mystery behind the origin story of him. So
and the revealing marketing campaign was great too.
You've almost killed the role itself. Once you put so many great actors, Nicholson, Ledger, Keaton, but once you put so many great Jokers in that role, how do you continue? Because there's no way to not nobody thought that's the problem with Ledger. Nobody thought he was going to do a good job, and then he did. But I mean, you've almost destroyed the role. If I was a Batman director, I stay away from Joker. I leave him on the bench.
I'd say I'd agree with you, man. But then you watch like Joaquin Phoenix do that, do the Joker, one-off Joker, and I was like, shit.
But then there's one more
different Joker, but that you have to
compare to. Yeah, it further, and then you do 7
Leto
times in a row.
Terrible. Sorry, Jared, I don't know you, but that wasn't good.
Thankfully,
Jared Leto.
Superman. They have.
Whoa! Wait, what?
The Jared Leto Joker? Sorry, man.
Come on, I'm the only one that likes that Joker.
Probably.
Yes,
Like
so.
in the world, though, Brian. I'm gonna probably say in the world.
You know what? I'll take that. I'll take it.
Hey, but you know what's even crazier than that? I mean, I'll just throw this out there a little bit. The Morbius early reviews aren't getting really good. They're not getting good calls either.
I thought he looked good for that. I was like, oh yeah, this is where Leto should be. This makes more sense. But again,
but I don't know, man. Sony has a very weird way of dealing with these characters, though, man.
I can't wait to see Keaton come back to the screen as Batman in this Flashpoint business.
Yeah, for the Flashpoint.
That is the excitement. That is my like.
Yeah.
I know. We probably don't have you for Rick. We probably don't have you for.
2 more minutes. Give me these 2 more minutes. I gotta tell you, because I do gotta go, but like I have to point. I really just need to say it, as I don't like the Snyderverse. I just haven't enjoyed any of the movies in the Snyderverse.
Thank you.
And that includes.
You just heard that was the sound of some of our fans, just like their hearts breaking right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of our fans that do like the Snyderverse. I get it though. I get why they like it.
I totally get it. I just it just didn't work for me, because again, I'm still searching for that emotional core, right? Like, where's that core? Because otherwise, why do I care? Just because it's grim and dark and whatever, like, doesn't make it cool. I don't mind that, but like, make sure it's got something to support it, or else it's just so dour all the time. And only Wonder Woman worked for like an hour and 40 minutes, and then the God battle at the end, I was like, okay, I don't care. But everything up before that, it just copied Superman the movie. I was like, there you go, just copy Superman the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
The blueprint is there for you. Just go do it. Even them walking through London was the Metropolis scenes. You know what I mean? Like, the fish out of water stuff. I was like, this is amazing. I love this.
I really must ask you this, being that you're a pretty good DC fan when it comes to the Superman like genre, and you understand the story. You probably understand the character a lot more than most people. How do you feel the way Zack Snyder was going to go through with the future Injustice variation with the storyline, where Lois was going to cheat on Clark with Batman and have a baby out of miscarriage? How do you feel about that, just in general?
I just don't like any of the Snyderverse, so I can't imagine I would have liked what he was gonna do with that.
Itself is an injustice. I tell people all the time, like, if you really know the story of Superman, like, know how cemented the relationship of Lois and Clark are. It's almost like,
hey, that's Bruce Wayne, dog. Sometimes,
he's just a dog,
hey,
man.
Soup, man. You gotta,
your girl.
You know what I mean?
The money.
All that flying around ain't gonna help you when Bruce Wayne is after your girl, bro. Like, I don't know, dog.
I'll never forget the animated series when he finds his identity out. That was so cool.
I would have been okay with
time that you are
seeing it, but I don't know if I look. Here's the saddest part of it all, is even though I didn't like any of them, I still paid to see. I'll see all of them. So,
oh fuck yeah! I literally sat through a 4-hour movie, man. And I didn't even go to the restroom.
So Rick, when you coming back to the Valley for your next visit?
I don't want to shit too much on Zack Snyder, because I do think he's a phenomenal filmmaker. Like, he's such a visual storyteller, and he really utilizes the medium in such an interesting way. I'm just not. And I love his his Dead movies. I think his Dead movies are great. Both of them are fantastic. And Watchmen, look, it's as good as you're going to get in 2 hours. Like,
Yep.
Sorry, like that's like an impossible tome to translate. And if you're going to try, like, that was the best 2.5 hour version you're going to get.
Yep.
So I like really, really dig Zach, and I love his visual acumen. They're just those movies never just took off for me. That's all. Anyway, so what was that, Michael?
I was just asking, when was the next time you're coming back home, etc. We'll all take you for beer.
Oh, well, hopefully right after this, I'm done with the movie here in Winnipeg. I'll head back to Austin. My wife's in Austin right now. She's directing her first horror movie. I'm super proud of her and super excited for her. And it's she's in Austin making that movie, and so we are almost going to be shooting at the exact same time, but I'll finish a little early. So I'll head to Austin, see my family down in San Antonio, and then I'll probably piggyback off that and head to the Valley and get my book done fixed and see my family.
Yeah.
That's awesome. As I said, I was telling you in the pre-show, our 20-year high school reunion should be. If it tracks, it's 2022. So I went to the 10. The 10 was great. I'll tell you about it later, etc. Because we were gonna go, but maybe this time you'll be able to come in for the 20. So,
I hope so. I mean, again, if they do it, if we decide to do it in May or June or something, I'd be able to make it. I just hope someone sends us an email or figures that out, because I'd love to.
Yeah,
love to
I
see
think
it.
it's Maddie. Maddie does the planning with on. So I'll ping her on Facebook. I'll say, hey, Rick said May or June. Okay, so we're gonna do it May or June.
Let's work around Rick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No one's gonna buy that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey
probably
guys,
not.
thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
No,
Rick,
thank
if
you.
anybody wants to look
Thank
for
you.
your information, man, where can they find you? Where can they follow you to catch up on all your
Yeah.
upcoming projects?
Rick DiaZ DP, RickDiaz DP at Gmail. That's my email, but that's also my website at rickdiazdp.com. That's also my Instagram, rickdiazdp. You can find me on there, and check Texas Chainsaw Massacre is on Netflix right now. Go check it out if you haven't already. And Stranger Things
Yep.
Volume 1 drops May 27th. Go check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Rick, I got to say, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're super appreciated. And man, anytime you ever want to come on the show and shoot the shit and talk nerd with us, man, you hit us up and just
I'll come back
get your
after
nerd
the
on.
season drops. After the season
Yeah,
drops, we can talk
definitely.
about it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
After Volume 2 drops, and you got all the stories already watched. Let's chat.
Yeah, we'll definitely have
Good.
to come
Sounds
on,
good.
man. Hit us up. Let us know. Thank you so much,
Cool.
Rick.
Will do.
Have a good one. Be safe out there, and best of luck on your upcoming projects, man. We'll be waiting to see more of it.
Thanks, man.
Later,
Cool.
brother.
Take care, all.
Mike, that was an amazing show. Brian, that was pretty
Thanks,
good. Rick
sir.
is
Yeah.
such a cool dude. Michael, I gotta
yeah.
say thank you for helping us get him on
Thanks,
the show.
sir.
It was my pleasure to bring a friend in. Unfortunately, I have to jet as well. Etc. I'm heading to a birthday party, so you boys
Mike.
enjoy talking the shit.
Where can we find
All right.
you, man? Hit us up with all your
No.
information so that way these guys can find you online.
You guys can find Kinetic Entertainment Media, which is my retro kind of spin thing, etc. on Facebook, etc. Or if you need to email me, it's darkbrokenhearts with a Z instead of an S, because I made it in high school at gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Very cool. Hey, thank you, Mike. Let us know what's coming up. If you have any shows coming up or any cons that'll be happening again sooner or later, maybe one day.
I'll let you know, man. Ninja Lamb bit me in the butt a little bit. A little gunshot. With all this pandemic stuff is over, whatnot. I think I might be taking some stuff out to that. What's the horror, the
Camp
camp
horror, right?
Camp horror, the campathon, etc. It's
I was
put a
just talking to a
nod
friend of mine about that
events,
show today, and I thought
Camp
that
Hack
was
and
really,
Slash.
really
I think
cool.
it's Camp Hack and Slash is the
Camp
the
Hack
right
and
title
Slash.
for it. Yeah, you can find the Facebook thing. They asked me to give them a quote for some stuff. I've gotten it to them. They're waiting to get back to me, etc. If I'm going to take equipment out. If not, I'm just going to attend as a civilian, etc. But I did have there's 1 or 2 more days that you can go out and see it. A friend of mine, I have a bunch of my CRT, my PVMs out at the McAllen Creative Incubator. So the
Nice.
McAllen CDS has put together a kind of like a really artsy demonstration. It's really interesting. She kind of like she did an art body piece on like her childhood bed sheets. She's got a bunch of film. She's taken like a lot of film that she had shot in the mountains of California, I think, and then she's displaying it. So I've actually I'm taking an HDMI signal. I'm taking a bunch of Fire Sticks and converting it to a digital input, which is called SDI, and that's fed into my PVMs, which are cold Brathay tubes, but they're actually displaying a digital signal, and the picture quality is perfect. And it's a gallery. It's just artsy. It's a real cool walkthrough. Kind of memories of C's childhood, etc., and how she grew up and stuff like that. The McAllen Incubator's always got so many cool events going on. But if anybody wants to check that out, just go to the McAllen Creative Incubator. It's open, all the time. Just your normal business hours. You can go into the main gallery and you can kind of check it around. And you can see some of my my high quality Ikegami Japanese PVMs, and just watching the picture quality of like a modern digital image on like a CRT. It's fantastic.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Hey, Mike. Well, it's good having you, man. It's good to see you again. We enjoyed the birthday party. We had such a great time at your casa.
Oh yeah.
Let
That
us know
ramen
what's
was
going on,
bomb.
man. Keep us
Yeah.
posted.
Sure. You guys have a good one. Thanks.
Peace.
Later, brother. Thank you so much. Brian, back to business.
Sir,
that was
back to
good, man.
business. That was
What a hell of a
super
show,
cool,
man.
by the way.
Yeah,
That
man.
was-
Rick was a really nice guy. He came on the show. I mean, whenever we get guests, it's always one of those things like you always feel like you got to walk on like real thin ice because you don't want to say anything. But like man, he was so laid back. That felt so good just to
Yeah,
be able to kick it and talk. And he
absolutely.
knew his nerd stuff.
And
He
he knew his
literally
nerd
knew his
stuff.
Superman shit. He was not messing around.
Not at all.
But it was good.
Not at
You know what? Like, I really got to go and reevaluate the Batman movie now because I really got to check it because
No,
this
you're
young man,
not. Listen,
yeah,
listen.
I'm probably
Let's
not.
let's not put up a front here, all right? You know we listen. You're talking to me now. Now
Yeah. Now we get to talk normal talk.
Yeah.
Now we get to just shit on everything.
Yeah.
without
Oh
getting in
yeah.
trouble.
About to say yeah. Exactly.
Hey, but actually, man, actually, I think you brought it up during the week. You hit me up during a conversation on the messenger page, and you were talking about the Batman right now, the way the series are, the way the film's going,
Numbers
box
wise, right?
office wise, man.
Yeah. It's doing moderately at best. It's not breaking any records or anything like that. It's I think statistically, I think it's somewhere in between. I think it's actually behind Batman versus Superman right now,
Really?
numbers wise. And mind you, this is with a China release. So unlike Spider-Man that broke every record known to man, just because it's a Disney movie, it was not opened. It has not opened in China. This Batman movie opened up in China and it's still doing shit numbers.
Oh shit! So it's still doing bad.
It's still doing bad. Yeah.
I wonder why though, man. Because I mean, there was so much hype behind the Batman film.
I don't know. I honestly I can't tell you. Maybe because there's not personally, even though I like the movie, the rewatchability of it is very low.
Yeah, the
You know what I'm
rewatchability.
saying?
That was probably the major
Yeah.
problem in the first place when I saw it. It was one of those things that they just didn't have any vibe for me to want to go rewatch it and kind of be like, well, maybe I need to see it a second time. And I did see that there were some situations that where people were calling it out and saying that you know, I'm gonna go check it out again. It was a really great movie. Oh, that's really sad to see. So Robert put in the group chat and put in the comment section. That's sad to hear, but Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, the drummer, passed away. Wow, I wonder what happened, man.
Have you ever seen them live, Foo Fighters?
No, I never got the opportunity to see them live.
I got a chance a few years back. That was a very
They do an
very
amazing
great
show.
concert. Yeah.
Dave
That was
Grohl is I mean, you could tell the guy's just a showman. The whole group is just a showman. Sad to see, man.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Wow, we'll probably hear more about it later on today. It's probably gonna keep coming through, but man, sad to see it. Sad to hear. Yeah, but going back, so Batman has fallen a lot for the box office. You know what? And it's very awkward because of the fact that there was a lot of hype for the movie. And not only that, do you think that them releasing, because I ain't gonna lie, the quality of that scene with the Joker that G just released, you know, they took some fucking time to cut that shit. They edited it, they fucking cleaned it up, they put it in the office letter, they put it in the box style with the black thing on top. They put some time and effort into making that scene. Do you think they kind of did it to see if they can get some hype back into the film?
Yeah, honestly. I don't
that's what
think
I kind of feeling too.
I mean, why else would they do it? I mean, the buzz about the movie is about as big as it's gonna get. So they had to do something to make it to get people that haven't seen it yet go out and see it. So I guess you give them this deleted scene, and hopefully it'll spark some interest. But I mean,
How do we really feel about that scene though?
Personally, I don't like, just like Rick said, I could have done without it, to be honest with you. And I think I even said I wasn't a big fan of the Joker scene in the movie itself.
The one that's in itself, right?
The one that's in the movie, that was literally one of the worst parts of the movie to me. Like I was highly disappointed with that scene. I just didn't need it, especially not in a 3-hour movie. That didn't do what you wanted it to do for me personally. So I could have done without it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was one of those things like the Joker itself, like even that scene that's in the film, it got overshadowed because of the way that they ended up writing the Riddler at the very end. Like he ended up almost being particularly the same themed character as the Joker would be. Like his actions and mannerisms, like it was almost literally the same character. It's almost like they literally wrote the idea of the Riddler, like how he's supposed to be out, and they just made him a character just like the Joker. And it kind of just felt them adding the Joker. That's why it was so hard to tell if it was even him or not. because I couldn't have been the only person that was like, was that Two-Face? Like, was that had to be like Two-Face, because that did not feel like the Joker.
I just think that at that moment of the movie, you got to come, like, you have to come with something better than that.
Yeah,
that didn't land correctly for me. It missed me.
And I think I talked about this last week when I was dissecting the fuck out of this movie. And that's because I didn't have you on the show, man. I felt really bad, and I'm glad you're feeling a lot better. I know that you had gotten sick. You had kind of like the flu. You didn't get COVID, which I'm so happy you didn't get COVID. But I think we talked about it, that more than likely was going to be the flu, because it's flu season. People get that shit a lot, and you man through it really good. And I'm happy you're good. I think I saw it earlier. Robert put it also. It's good to see you back. So we missed you. We all missed you. You didn't really. I know you were in the comment section, but you didn't really get your opportunity to grill me about the Batman being a great movie. So I wanted to give you that opportunity and tell me.
You know what? I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. But honestly, I mean, in real time, when I was listening to you just completely shred this fucking movie,
fucking goddamn,
you just diced the fuck out of this movie, I kind of felt some sort of way. But I was like, you know what? He's probably right. I mean, I went into this movie not thinking I was gonna like it, and maybe I'm putting it a little bit more on a pedestal because it just didn't suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that. I can feel that tremendously, actually. And the thing is like, well, I went in on a higher pedestal because everyone around me was telling you it was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was expecting some fucking Anthony Scorsese, some fucking James Cameron, some, even in the fact of like the Arthur movie, I was expecting something masterful. And was it there? There were parts. There were essences where it was really, really amazing stuff. Today I was actually talking to the people that I went to see Batman with, and we were still talking about how there were parts we just didn't understand or didn't like. And some of the parts were just the common sense parts, which one was a lot of people, like normie people, would constantly say, oh, dude, this is just like 7. But the thing about 7 is there's so much dramatic affection and emotion because of the gore, the blood, the emotional content of the actors, that this movie being like a PG-13 and this guy being just emotional by being sad, it did not cover even close to being like the movie 7 for me. So that was the expectation, is I expected 7 and I got like 4. I got the movie 4 instead. And,
I got 4.
And again, nothing to shit on Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz. No, all of them did an exceptional fucking job. I'm excited to see what they do with their characters. I was even not excited for the gender change, or the gender change, not the gender change, the race change of Commissioner Gordon, because Commissioner Gordon is originally a redhead Irish guy, super this and that, and it's always been like that. And then you had that fucking other guy from
Jeffrey Wright.
Spider-Man fucking play him in the other one.
Okay, yeah.
And he does an amazing job as an actor. But the man that they chose, who happens to be the voice of the Watcher in What If, he's the exact same guy, did an exceptional fucking job.
Yeah, he did.
He really hit the Boy Scout that Gordon is supposed to be. Like, he literally hit it on the button. The whole time that he was there, I felt that he was almost like, you remember, it literally was the Spider-Verse scene where Miles is looking at Spider-Man and Spider-Man's trying to teach him something, and he's like, oh yeah, and he's wearing the pajamas Spider-Man costume.
Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of every time Gordon was teaching Batman something or protecting him in some way.
See, I didn't get that. Like, I kind of felt as though their dynamic was reciprocal. Like, I didn't feel as though like
one was over the other.
Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, there was no way.
Like they were growing together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And honestly, again, I liked way more things than I disliked in this movie. Again, I liked how they portrayed Gotham City in this movie. I think it's probably the best it's been so far. I did like the Joker, the movie, the Joker. That portrayal of Gotham City, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was interesting. That had a lot more New York vibe, right?
Yeah, that was a good one. Honestly, I liked the way it was shot. Honestly, I didn't think the emo fucking Batman was gonna work on me, bro, but it fucking
There
did.
were parts, yeah, there were parts that worked. I think like in the cemetery scene where he was super like uptight.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that one was a little bit too much, but when he would be like in the basement doing the studying thing and then seeing stuff about his father and then stuff like that, like I felt that more when he's by himself.
I honestly think this movie is gonna be the best that it's gonna get. You got 80% Batman, 20% Bruce Wayne. I like the 20% of Bruce Wayne that I got in this movie. He
Yeah,
was a fucking
because
he
of
was
the
a
fact that in the what was it, the Nolan films, it's like the opposite.
yeah.
It was like a 70-30 Batman.
Yeah, you got
Like,
a lot
like
of Batman.
a lot,
You got
well,
a
you got
lot
Bruce
of Batman.
Wayne. You got a
Yeah.
lot more Bruce Wayne in that film.
In this one, you got a lot of
A
Batman.
lot of
A
Batman.
lot of Batman. And I found it cool, the rock star atmosphere of Bruce Wayne. I dug it. I liked it. I like people
from this one or the other.
from this one.
Okay.
Like there's a rock star aspect of Bruce Wayne. Anyone that sees him, they're like, oh shit, it's fucking, because they don't fucking see the guy.
And
Like,
you know what? The vibe that I got more was almost like a royalty.
well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
like
every other
more than a rock star, more royalty. Because like even like when the Penguin sees him, he's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And they're like, "Oh, dude, that's Bruce Wayne." And he's like,
oh shit.
dude, it's
No.
Hey, how's it going? But like all of a
That's
sudden,
what I'm
he
saying. I
changed from
dug
being
that.
a thug to being
To
like
being
an
a
uncle.
fan.
Yeah, to being
Or
a fan
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
It was super weird. It's kind of like I don't know, man.
I liked it.
It was such a weird, cool aspect. I give it up for that. The one thing that I didn't really care for was the seriousness of the way he acts, because he acts so awkward, or they write him or they direct him so awkwardly when he's in public as Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Like at the cemetery, and I go back to this all the time, is when they're doing the casket scene in that building, and he comes out of the Stingray, right, or the Corvette, and he's just got like his fucking eyes are like just activated, and he's just walking around like he's just like he doesn't even want to be there. He's just pissed off all the time. He's not sad. He's just mad. It's just that everyone is he's just fucking pissed. He's just pissed off at everyone. The fucking dude's there talking shit. He's like, man, that guy probably deserved it. Fuck that Bruce Wayne. Guy turns around and Bruce Wayne doesn't even care. That guy's talking shit about him. He was just so mad.
Yeah.
Like you kind of wanted him to kind of like lower that guard and be a little bit more humanitarian, but still be the guardian that he knows he has to be during that time. That's the only thing I felt was missing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I felt missing. But then again, I feel we'll get that in the secondary movies or the sequels, because this is supposed to be the growth of how Batman, being the actual identity of this person, knows that his mask is Bruce Wayne. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the crazy thing. We're gonna get that with Moon Knight. Like Moon Knight's gonna be like that even more, because the characters that he portrays, he knows those are his identities. Where Moon Knight is the person that drives the car. So that's gonna be like the way it is with Moon Knight, which would be pretty crazy from what we've heard. A lot of people have seen the first 4 of fucking 6 episodes. Like I didn't even know it's 6 episodes.
It's only 6 episodes, and people have seen.
People have already seen fucking 4. It's almost the whole goddamn thing. Jesus Christ! Yeah. But and everybody's saying that it's amazing. It's very well disconnected from the Marvel universe. Really excited for that. But I needed to ask. There were certain scenes in the Batman that I wanted to get your opinion on. Okay. One was towards the ending of the film, the Riddler ends up being a fucking internet guy with 500 followers. They bring in a little bit of social commentary, which is, it's a little like underlined, but you know what they're trying to go for, right? Like the militia mentality or whatever.
They couldn't even give my guy the Riddler 1,000 followers, bro.
Dude, they fucking shit on him. They fucking shit on him. But we got to digress. But the thing is like, okay, so I don't know how big of a fan of Batman you've been like in your life. And that could be like, it doesn't have to be the comics. It could be the animated series.
No, as a child, he was my favorite superhero.
I think our generation and a little bit into the generations like under us and above us, the animated series literally fed us the greatest Batman ever created.
That was my
Like,
babysitter. Like
that
coming
was
home from school, I would put that shit on, and I would be watching that shit the whole
and
afternoon.
that literally is the best ever representation of what Batman is in the comics, in films, and in any aspect is the animated series.
Yeah.
One, he ends up injecting himself with some type of chemical.
Yeah.
Do you think it was adrenaline, or do you think that was a nod to Venom, the stuff that Bane takes?
Watching it, I did not think of Venom automatically. I thought of just straight adrenaline. And I do agree with you on that point where I don't know how he sticks himself with fucking adrenaline, and then doesn't end up killing this fucking guy, or
Yeah,
the guy looks
was just red. He was
yeah,
just red. He wasn't even
yeah.
bleeding, or he wasn't caved in or nothing. And then even with that, it doesn't even give Catwoman enough reason to be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you, you fucking freak," or whatever.
I
Like,
do agree with you.
it
I
was kind
do
of weird. But
agree
then
with you
again,
on
that's
that.
the PG-13 part.
Yeah,
That's
of
the
course.
PG-13 part, because that was
Of course.
supposed to be reminiscent to in Batman year 2, not year 2. I think it's fuck. I can't even remember off the top of my head. The Return of Batman. He
Mhm.
fights a mutant, which is a gang leader, which is like the kids in the subway. They're
Okay.
like these guys that talk real weird. It's from one of the cartoons in one of the series. And he beats the shit out of this guy and he leaves him there and his face is all caved in. And everybody just watched him do it.
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't know it. Like, the cops are just they just let him do it. You know what I mean?
Would you have stopped him? It's
You
fucking
have to,
Batman.
man.
It's fucking Batman going
Yeah.
ape shit. How do you stop him? Like,
But
what do you
see, like,
mean?
there's another really great comic book called Batman the White Knight. And that's where Batman beats the shit out of the Joker and the cops allow him to do it, just literally like the same way, just fucking horrible. And then he force feeds him medication that cures him, and that makes
Okay.
that cures the Joker. And then he ends up beating Batman in a lawsuit and getting him arrested. It sounds fucking crazy, but like he beats him in a lawsuit because he says, "How are you gonna allow a person who's not an officer to beat someone in front of police without them doing anything?" And he wins the case. It's the smartest move. And then he runs for mayor and wins.
And wins. Yeah, I'm about to say that is the only trajectory that was going.
But it's really good. It's really
there.
good. If you have an opportunity, if anybody does, and you have a DC app to go read the comics, White Knight is a very, very interesting read. Vince asks, Venom, Marvel, and a DC crossover? No, Venom is actually the medication that Bane takes to Hulk out. It's the drug that they sell in the thing, which I was kind of disappointed that they were shooting for drops. They were like selling drops or whatever the drug was, and it wasn't the Venom that they were selling.
Well,
I think
maybe
if
it was
selling the Venom, it would have been a little bit better. Maybe it's Venom, right?
Yeah, maybe it was, and it's just something that we'll get to in the next movie. But personally, when I saw him just go bananas on the guy, I did not think of Venom. But once I heard you say it last week, I'm like, that could be a possibility.
It could be a really good nod.
Yeah.
I mean, and then not only that, knowing that now that they've casually, and I want to say fucking casually, they've released this cut scene of him going to the Joker for help, which, again, if anybody out there had the argument that this was a great detective story, like, he fucking went to the Joker for help. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, that's like literally you can walk up to
what it worked in Silence of the Lambs, bro. Like, sometimes you need a sick-minded
you need a sicko to figure out a sicko.
It worked. I just didn't. It
didn't work for me, man. It didn't work for me at all. But you know what? That does pay homage to certain comic books where Batman and the Joker do team up to solve things, because another villain will come in and try to do what the Joker does, and the Joker's like, bitch, Batman's my man. Yeah, Batman's my man.
Yeah.
The design of the Joker, how did you feel about the design that they went with?
I didn't care for it. I didn't care for the design. I'm just so turned off from it personally. Maybe I'm just being, a little bit too much right now on it, but it didn't do anything for me.
So
what about you?
I don't know, man. I get the idea of the grotesqueness.
Yeah.
I do get it. But I don't feel like that's what the Joker is. Like, I feel like that's like an easy writing of an interpretation of what the Joker would do. Like, oh, it's because he's crazy. He's going to tear his hair out.
Yeah.
but he's gonna dye it fucking green. You know, oh, he's gonna cut his lips, but he's gonna look like DJ High Tech from God. Did you see that fucking picture I posted up?
Yeah.
The DJ High Tech. That's what he looked like. He looked like the prosthetic that he uses, where it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And there's probably going to be some chalk up, which is like, you know, the way that they took the creative information to do like the Jared Leto Joker, where they're going to be like, well, he's not going to be pretty though. You know, he's got silver teeth because fucking Batman constantly beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
But to get silver teeth, that means he's going to have to sit for hours in a dentist chair. Do you literally think a person like the Joker would sit in a fucking dentist chair and be
Probably
patient? No, fuck no. He's a crazy person. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the Joker, that's what makes his character so awesome, is you just never know why.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't get him. Like, that's why I wasn't a big fan of Arthur. The only part in the movie Arthur that reminded me of the Joker was when he's with the little guy and he locks him in.
Okay.
Because he planned that joke. From the very beginning, he knew that dude wasn't going to reach the door. He knew he wasn't going to be able to unlock it on his own.
Yeah.
So he when he killed the guy, when he locked him in the broom, he had that all planned out all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was the Joker. Like, that was the Joker. Or that was the biggest punchline of that whole film. That was the whole part. Like, that was, to me, that's the only part that sold it to me. I could rewatch that scene over and over again because it's so perfect.
See, I definitely like that movie for the fact that I didn't want full blown Joker. Like, I like that slow descent. Like, that's why that movie was cool to me, is because you're just watching the slow, and it was literally the slowest descent into madness. It was just the slow descent, and then you'll get those glimpses, just like the scene you're talking about. You'll get those glimpses here and there until at the end where he gets taken out of the car, and you know shit's on and popping out. Like,
that's it. He's all gone crazy, and everybody's
he's done. Yeah.
Vince puts in the scene that the Joker looked more like a Joker thug than the Joker. I could see that. Brian, he asks, which Jared Leto is your favorite, the Suicide Squad Joker or the Nightmare Joker?
I like them both. I didn't get that much Nightmare Joker, but I would love to see more of that. Listen, I know I'm in the minority here. I know Jared Leto isn't a huge favorite as his version of the Joker, but I didn't mind it. I could have seen more movies of him in it being the Joker. I don't think
it's his fault. I mean, he's not going to be the person that's in charge of the costume, the character design and all that stuff.
Yeah.
His portrayal is not bad. Like, his portrayal is not bad.
I dug it.
Go
ahead.
I think in the Suicide Squad, he does an amazing job of showing the chaotic nature of how the Joker deals with things.
Yeah.
Like, he understands the character.
There's so much footage on that was left on the cutting room floor for Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. That we'll never see, which I heard wasn't that bad. It was pretty fucking good. So knowing that,
I'll die on that rock, and I'll die on that rock where I tell people all the time that I really wish they would have put that scene from the trailer, the "I'm gonna hurt you really, really bad" scene.
Yeah,
the way that was shot, because yes, he does do a scene like that, but it does not emotionally hit the way it looked in the trailer, where he looked fucking crazy and he's ready to do some damage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He does well. He does well.
I do have a question for you though, sir. Since you asked me a question, I have a question for you. So we're sticking on the topic of the Batman the movie. So we saw the numbers. The numbers, I think, as of 4 days ago, globally, it hit 600 million. So it's slowing down. I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. Yeah. And then, being that this was a Warner Brothers release, it's on a 45-day window. Yeah. So
before it goes on the streaming service, right?
Before it goes on the streaming service.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you think that's a smart idea on the part of Warner Brothers to put your movies on a 45-day window? Like, you could probably be like, listen, Spider-Man is still in the movies right now, dude. it's still, you can go see Spider-Man at in some movie theaters. Like, why would that be smart? Because at some point, a lot of these companies are going to have to decide what is more important to you: the box office numbers and the money, or the streaming services.
Well, I mean, my opinion right now in the situation is I think Warner Brothers knows they have a tainted reputation.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. And I think that the reason why they're sticking with this 45-day and then put it straight to stream is because they know they're not going to compete with Spider-Man money. Like, Spider-Man right now is more of a household name from adult to child, and they're so consistent with what they're doing, and the blueprint that they follow works so well that literally anything that Marvel puts its name on could do no wrong. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But literally, I'll die on that stone too to tell people that I think Spider-Man was a stupid fucking story.
You just couldn't help yourself, could you?
No, fuck no. And you know what? It is rumored that in the HD release, since it just got released, like I believe last week, when they're showing all the different characters, they show Madam Web, they show Kraven the Hunter, then they show an apparent Black Cat character, then it cuts to Rhino, and apparently either Mysterio, but a lot of people are saying he's too skinny, and when he looks around, he looks like my boy Miles Morales. Dude, it was coming.
All right.
Whoa,
now,
where's my counter?
Okay.
Where's my counter?
Now you just couldn't help yourself is very valid here. Okay, so
Yeah.
you just
But there is rumor that that's Miles Morales, which would be a really cool nod.
Wait,
right
which one?
Rhino's character.
Okay, so in the stars, in the stars, or whatever.
There's one of them. There's people that are saying that it's Mysterio, but he doesn't have a cape, and he kind of like, you see him look around, and if you look, he looks like the Spider-Verse Miles Morales.
Yeah,
he's got the big head, the tiny body, the big feet, the big hands, kind of like animated figure. So cool. We might have got a small little nod of Miles Morales, just a little quick, just some cool little snap in there. We do know he's in there. We do know he's coming. We just don't know when, but exciting stuff, man. But
I do have one more question for you. I know
I was going to say, going back to the previous question, I really I really just believe that. I really believe that Warner Brothers just knows that they're not going to make that kind of money. You look at the decline right now, and I think that when we were talking about it and looking at the numbers, I think the drop was a 45% drop in number, literally like within a week. So there's no way.
Normal, but that's normal though these days.
Not compared to like Spider-Man.
But see, that's an anomaly. Like, I don't want to get too wrapped up in those numbers, because that's something that that's something that wasn't even done before the pandemic.
But you look at it this way, story-wise, the Batman movie is a lot better story and more compelling, more than the Spider-Man story that just had a few features of special guest appearances, and that's it. But it's all the nicks and crannies, all the flashing lights and circles and Doctor Strange things that are going on, that it's more of like the visual compensation is there more, where the Batman is more based on a straight, like, hey man, we're making a movie with a script, a story, and this is a plot, and this is the twist, and this is the thing. Where the Spider-Man movie was just a bunch of fucking like, hey, blah, let me just vomit up Spider-Man Sony shit on a window.
Yeah.
But I mean, but then again, actually, going off of with something that Robert just casually posted up, the Morbius movie is right now getting early reviews, and it is completely getting shit on. So it's not a thing that Marvel just makes marvelous shit. Marvel has to be a part of that movement so it can be successful. Again, this falls back with like Venom and Venom 2, where yes, I know there's people that are beloved to the Venom franchise, the Venom name, household character. Everyone loves him, but you are a different kind of special if you think those movies are good. Like Sony did horrible on those movies, and they need to be scolded for it, because right now they apparently did the same thing with Morbius, and they took that creative input to do a complete 180. Make it to apparently like he's not in the universe with a Spider-Man. The scene where he's walking by a Spider-Man spray painted thing, that's fucking fake. It was computer generated. Michael Keaton doesn't even fucking
Out.
come out in the movie.
He's out.
Like nothing that they showed you in the trailer originally that you were excited for, that you had questions about, none of that shit's there.
But you know what? I think, and I'm gonna shoot them a little bit of bail. I think it's because they don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I think
can see that.
I think because some of the things in the movie pertaining to the
different franchises and stuff,
different franchises, the different IPs, the Spider-Man, fucking a Vulture, they don't know what they're going to be doing next.
Yeah.
This movie was supposed to be out like so long ago. They didn't even know. And then when Spider-Man happened, dude, the door is open now. They don't know what the fuck's going on now, bro.
Yeah.
Like everything's changed.
Yeah, I can see that. But you know what? This is the same problem that I've talked about that Marvel has a lot more leadway because they have so much Marvel that they can play with.
Yeah.
That they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like literally, like you're seeing it right now with like the way we talked about Kamala Khan, where Kamala Khan's character is literally getting the Green Lantern's powers. They're literally rewriting her entire origin story. They're giving her Negan bands or Nega bands instead of her having powers from the Inhumans, from the Terrigen Mist. Like they're rewriting everything. And we talked about this where we said maybe this is the opportunity that they can fix all the fucked up comic books that they have right now. Maybe they can fix them in the films. Maybe they can get people to get behind them better. Like I get that.
That's a very interesting. I want you to remind me that you said that, but yes, go ahead.
Okay, but again, we've talked about this before with the concept of like from the very beginning. If you go back to phase 1, Marvel was very particular with trying to stay as close to the source material as they can with every character. Iron Man and the Ironmonger or Crimson Dynamo. You had Captain America versus the Red Skull. You know, the Red Skull going after the Infinity Stones, him going into the ice, very, very losing Bucky. Those were all very comic book accurate resources. You looked at the fucking Hulk franchise with Edward Norton, very close to the Hulk franchise in general. All of them were very tight knit to the very first Avengers movie. All of them, the Thor movie literally was Thor's origin story, minus the fact that he didn't get a stick. A human guy didn't hit it on the ground and he turned into Thor himself. He was literally Thor, and they didn't do the Donald Blake story, which is the second iteration of Thor. But everything was very tight knit to the resource material. They were very much like, holy fuck, dude, we don't want to mess this up. By the third phase, they were a lot more lenient on the kind of shit that they were getting away with. They were like, oh, well, you know what? Like, yeah, Thanos is supposed to impress death, but fuck that bitch. Let's just make it to where Thanos he doesn't even care about half the life of the world. He wants to give food to everybody, and he just wants to wipe everybody out instead of just making more food. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like they took a lot of resources. Now, fucking Kamala Khan doesn't even have her own original story anymore. Like, I mean, she doesn't have her own origin story from the comics. It's a whole new thing. So like it's this concept that like Marvel has a lot of that opportunity because they have so much to work with. Like the Nega bands from the Captain Marvel story and her finding it or it being a part of her culture, a family heirloom or whatnot, and she gets it. That is a possibility because the Nega bands were literally a weapon that all the Kree used, and they literally create constructs. A lot of people thinks that they are the Quasar's bands, but I forgot the cosmic bands. But that's the thing, is that they won't use that one because that belongs to an individual named Quasar. Like that's its own, like, and that's already a female. It's a male character, now a female character who's like a Hyperion heavy hitting character. So like there's a possibility to bring that in. And then this past week we just got an acknowledgement that Marvel had a secret space movie that they were working on. Now a lot of the rumors are coming out is that finally they're bringing back they're going to bring back Richard Rider. They're going to bring out Nova. So they have like all of this like great opportunity to use all this. Sony does not have that. So when they go and they write a Morbius story and they're like, oh, well, we're going to make a Morbius story and call it a Marvel Legends story, which is like Arthur, where it's like its own independent story. But then later on go, oh no, he was in Andrew Garfield's fucking Spider-Man universe all along. It's the same shit with the Venom thing. Nobody out there can tell me that they were not disappointed with how Sony handled Venom in No Way Home.
Of course.
That was the most disappointing cameo for a Venom character. Like, that was super disappointing.
But very resourceful. Like it had a point to it. It was disappointing, but it had a point to it. Like it got what it needed to, and I had already told you weeks in advance that exact scene was gonna happen. And it served its purpose. But I have a question for you, because you brought up Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And you said that, Marvel has a chance with these shows and these movies to get some of these IPs that didn't do so well. Giving them another chance, whether it be, them having a whole new
story or whatnot,
or power set or whatever. So have you noticed, do you know when Captain Marvel's release date is?
The Marvels or Miss Marvel,
the Miss Marvel.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not
it's June 8th.
Okay.
All right. Do you know what happens 2 weeks before that? On May 25th.
May 25th.
May 25th. There's something big
Dr.
happening.
Strange 2?
No.
Oh, it's close.
Even worse than it being Doctor Strange. It's actually Obi-Wan Kenobi's release day.
Oh, the Star Wars Obi-Wan TV show. Wow, that's gonna be a heavy fucking hitter for Miss Marvel to go against. But that'll keep people on the Disney stream though.
But why would they do that though? Why would they have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Captain Marvel going at the same time on the same day?
That's a good question.
Why would they be doing that? They've never done it before. They've spaced everything the fuck out. Why would they do that?
I think it's because you know what?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I got my tinfoil hat on. It would not surprise me if one, if not both of those shows are complete shit.
Ooh, that would suck. I mean, dude, that would be horrible for the Obi show, though, don't you think?
I don't think the Obi show would be complete shit. I'm leaning towards the Miss Marvel.
Oh, I 100% think the Miss Marvel show is going to be bad.
And I don't want it to be, though.
I don't want it to. Nobody wants it to be. I mean, it's going to be a possibly the first opportunity for a Muslim superhero, right? In the Marvel universe, not per se in the comics, but for the cinematic universe. Kamala Khan is a fun character. She does have an interesting fan base that a lot of people do like her. They even made her the head honcho in the video game that just came out not too long ago. Yeah. She has her licks, man. But the reason why I'm really disappointed in this show right now compared to her original story is because the reason why she's getting superpowers is just because she wants to be popular. Every superhero has a story of turmoil. Batman loses his parents. Superman's whole planet gets destroyed. Fucking Iron Man's own torpedo blows up and almost kills him in the middle of Warzone. That kills all these bodyguards around him or these young soldiers. Captain America was born so weak and he wanted to help during World War II that he was willing to risk his own life to save other people, and he would do whatever it takes because of the American way or whatever fucking people want to go with nowadays. But everyone comes from turmoil. Kamala Khan character right now only likes Captain Marvel, likes boys, and wants to be cool.
That's cool. What I'm saying is, could you imagine fucking WandaVision coming out on the same fucking night as Mando season 2? Like, that's unfathomable.
No, I think that's a really bad decision for the way that they do it. But you want to know what it is at the same time? I think it's because they have a lot of shit that's going to be coming out this coming year. And it's just schedule-wise, they just need to start cramming things.
But it's on the same day, though. Okay, so give me one on Monday, give me one on Friday. On the same day?
I didn't know that they were on the same day.
It's a Wednesday. The 25th of May is a Wednesday, and the 8th of June is a Wednesday.
So we'll be getting both episodes of those on the same day per week?
On the same day, what I'm assuming per week.
Oh man, well that's cool, man. I'll watch one and then the other. I mean, I'm not hating on it.
I'm not hating on it either. I'm just saying that's not normal for them. I've never
What
seen
what
that.
I
I've
what
never
I
seen
think
it
is
before.
bad is, like, let's say one of the shows comes out and it ends up being another fucking Boba Fett. And I'm not saying Obi-Wan's gonna suck. I'm just saying out of both shows, where we have to wait a week for these shows to suck. That's what I kind of get disappointed with. I do like the fact that I think in the very beginning when Marvel did this, they would just release the whole fucking series.
Yeah.
Like, take
Well,
it at your own pace, dude. Like, fucking watch the whole thing if you ain't got no job, or if you have the day off, or fucking watch it every other day with your family, rewatch it again, and just watch it. I don't like it that they're doing it like a TV show where it's like, oh, Wednesday, don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, because it's like, man,
But see,
dude,
that's why I landed where I landed as to why they're doing this, is because maybe one of the shows isn't gonna do as well as they would like. So here, all right, shut the fuck up, and here goes Obi-Wan right after it, or the same day as well. So now you have Obi-Wan to take your mind off of how bad this shit tasting show is over here. You know what I'm saying?
To be frank about it, the Obi-Wan show is gonna break history, because it's going to be reuniting Christian Haydenson with Ewan McGregor.
That's why it doesn't make sense it doesn't make sense as to why you would have fucking.
The only reason why I could think that they're doing this is because Marvel themselves, again, basing it on the way that it's always been. If it's not wide, it ain't right. They don't think it's going to carry. They don't think people are going to like the Miss Marvel show. They don't think it's going to be as successful.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and you know what, and it's a shit thing to say, the way I put it, but that's the way Marvel has always been. They take a character, they base it on race, but then they throw some other fucking popular name on it of some white character, because they don't believe that character can carry a franchise. They don't think it can carry its own title. That's the thing that sucks.
If I worked on the Miss Marvel show and I found out that we're gonna
that would be the reason, it would suck, wouldn't it?
That we're on the same fucking night or the same day as fucking Obi-Wan, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Are you kidding me?
You know what makes it even sadder is that they've been doing like their audience is for younger kids, like a teenage age, because of the Kamala Khan character, but they'll have her doing like, hey, I'm gonna review my trailer, I'm gonna watch it, look at my reaction or whatever, and it's Marvel doing it with the actress, like, and they're pushing on it, and I get it, like, but like, she doesn't understand like that.
I was digging it. I was digging the whole trailer. Like, it's got a vibe.
So it's got a very like teenage those old Jawbreaker movie, or Not Another Teen Movie, 10 Things I Hate About You kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I was gonna say like a Scott Pilgrim. Like, I kind of got like a Scott Pilgrim vibe from it, which I dig, because I like Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim's
that's my shit. So I kind of got that vibe from it. So I was hoping it's gonna do well. Again, this is just me thinking out loud. I hope it still does well. It just doesn't bode well for it, knowing that it's gonna be on just 2 weeks after the premiere of Obi-Wan, and it's gonna be airing the same night as Obi-Wan. That's just weird to me.
Yeah,
because this is out of the normal. They've never done that.
Yeah,
they've never done that.
That's wild as shit to me. I think it's like you said. I think that they don't think that Kamala Khan's going to bring in enough attention, so they have to put something else. And I think that it's gonna get overshadowed completely under Obi-Wan, dude. Like, that's
no one's going to be talking about it.
Yeah, the talking point's going to be Obi-Wan, if anything. A lot of people are going to watch that shit. I want to go back. Let me jump into these things real quick. Vince says, I'm waiting for the Thor trailer. You and me both, brother.
Yeah, it should be soon, bro.
Yeah, it should be soon.
I think
it's going to be close to the Doctor Strange.
But I think I heard that this is like the shortest amount of time between.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, like
2 months. Usually it's about 3 months, 3.5.
Yeah,
but this is like 2 months. But then again, it's like, I think I heard someone in another podcast say it, and they were like, bro, does Marvel really need 3 months to advertise a film like Thor? And I was like, nah, fucking people are going to watch that shit. Everyone's going to talk about it. The moment it drops. The moment we get some shit, people are going to talk about it. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 weeks and people will fucking go crazy. We got here we go. Another one from Vince. Are you guys going to watch WrestleMania next week? Me, no, I'm not really much into wrestling anymore. But I know Brian is. I know that Robert is. Those guys are all about it. What's the hype for WrestleMania this year, guys?
Stone Cold's coming back, bro.
Oh shit! No way, dude. For real?
Stone Cold, yeah, Stone Cold.
Is he gonna be fucking dropping dudes, or is he gonna be commentating, or what's his?
He's probably gonna be. He's gonna be dropping dudes. I don't know if it's like. Listen, I am not looking forward to this WrestleMania. It's probably one of the weaker WrestleManias I can remember. So they had to go out and get Stone Cold. Like they're having trouble filling people in the stadium.
Is it because of the A&E show? Because I heard that A&W or AEW is doing really fantastic. They got the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. So the Hardy Boys are on AEW.
That's a big move, man, because I know that the Hardy Boys, and when they were wrestling with WWE, they had them separated. They had Matt Hardy doing some crazy, he's a crazy person kind of skit going on for a bit. Jeff's doing his fucking what Jeff does. But they were always separated. But now the AEW's got them back together to their original tag team champions, which is kind of what everybody's been apparently wanting.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man. I saw that the other day. I remember the Hardy Boys from back in the day, and pretty snazzy dudes. I thought they were pretty badass. So to see them return was really, really nice, man.
And there's a few like
not even an avid fan.
Yeah, there's a few tag teams over there at AEW that is almost like a dream match to some of us to see the Hardy Boys face. So yeah, so shout out to them. WrestleMania, dude. Again, there's really nothing besides Stone Cold, and like Rob said, Cody Rhodes is supposed to be coming back during WrestleMania. But other than that, there's really nothing else to look forward to. Maybe the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. But other than that, Stone Cold, man. That's all I'm here for. Stone Cold, dude.
Our boy George in the comments also asks, this is probably during our Marvel talks, but what about when are we going to get a chance to see Adam Warlock, though? Guardians of the Galaxy 3, haven't really heard much from it. I think they've already finished filming from what I've heard. I still am up in the air to see a Flash cameo or an Ezra Miller cameo, since he filmed the ending of Peacemaker on set of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Would it be fucking amazing? Because nobody's as gangster as Ezra Miller. You know this. So could it be? Yeah, man, I can see that shit.
Oh man,
that'd be pretty cool. I mean, even if he was out of the Flash costume and made some kind of reference to him being fast, like just him in the background, that would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yo, really, really cool. No. What would be cool is if he showed up and he was the same gangster.
In that jacket, yeah, in space, and he's like, "Yo, it's your boy, Skinny Penis," or whatever he fucking said. He came out and he's just wearing that fuzzy coated jacket, and he's just there with his long hair, and he's just like, "What's up? It's me." Yeah, that would be fucking G. I didn't even think of that. That would, dude. I'd be about that shit. Can you imagine? That would be the fucking best reference.
Did you just say, "Hey, it's me, Skinny Penis"?
I couldn't remember what he called himself. He called himself the barback maid, or I don't know what he called it. He gave himself the weirdest nicknames. I don't know. The barback maid. I don't know, man. I couldn't remember the cool ass name he gave himself.
Where are you
going? I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying my best, Brian. I just want to be a good man. But yeah, so I'm really shooting for an Adam Warlock. An Adam, man, dude, it'd be so cool to see something recent, because of course the actor that they chose for Adam Warlock, he hit puberty in such a badass way. That guy used to be so weird looking.
Motherfucker's getting jacked.
Like fucking G, dude. He looks like a small blonde-haired Henry Cavill, man.
Jacked.
So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with him. So hopefully soon, man. Maybe we might get some reference to him in the new Thor movie if they reference Thor in space, because we do know Odin's son is with Guardians of the Galaxy from the last film. So there has to be some type of reference to Guardians of the Galaxy in the Jane Foster Thor story. He's got to make an appearance with them in some way. So can't wait. That's going to be really, really cool. Vince also says we've had some leaks for Kraven the movie. Look like Tarzan first time in the city.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, so me on a flash note, I could give 2 nut hairs about Kraven, dude. Like I don't know why. And then again, we can't look into this too far, guys, and don't get your hopes up, because they literally made a movie about Morbius, and all the fanboys were like, "Yeah, we're getting a Morbius movie," which was like 3 people that were excited because no one knows who the fuck Morbius was, and Kraven is even a least weirder character. So yeah, I'm not excited for Kraven. I'd be cool for a Sabretooth movie, which Kraven was literally stolen from. But yeah, we're gonna get a Kraven movie. It looks like Tarzan. I just don't understand what they're gonna do with this character, because Like he's just a safari hunting dude with an Ezra Miller jacket. Like, that's literally all I remember, dude. It's fucking all I remember, man.
No, I just think that Sony is just worried about building their Spider-Verse. Like that's it. Just get the characters out there and we'll figure it out later.
You know what? As a matter of fact, the guy that made the Morbius film, did you hear that he was talking about all the characters and needing the necessity to have totems in different parts of the multiverse?
No.
Did you? Okay, so apparently he had some fucking interview. You probably have to bring this up. And in the interview, he was talking about how totems were super important.
Okay.
That is really, really important because that's what they call certain characters in the Spider-Verse story where they're going against those fucking weird. Remember I told you about them? When they're fighting those Victorian dudes that eat Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah.
The word totem is used by that, and they're talking about how, like in the Morbius movie, that Morbius characters and all of these people are interesting because there need to be totems in these universes. And I was like, oh fuck, dude, that is like a huge punch to that they're going to be going for the Spider-Verse. So 100% Sony's big end game is going to be the Spider-Verse.
Well, yeah, because they're coming out with the Madam Web movie, which that just came out of fucking left field. Like they're gonna
even fucking know why, dude. Like
they're doing a Madam Web movie, and that's why you're getting all of these Kraven the Hunters and Venoms and Morbiuses, so they can start their own fucking Spider-Verse. That's what
Trigger in the comments. What's up, my dude?
Yes.
He's the Average Boys podcast. Yo, it's the Average Boys commenting on the Average Boys. And Robert has asked us probably the most important question of the day. Have you guys seen Halo yet?
I have not gotten a chance to see it.
I, Robert, have not seen it. I'm gonna fire stick the fuck out of it when I get an opportunity.
Absolutely, 1000%.
I have heard horrible reviews about it, and I am not excited, but I'm excited. One I'm not excited about is that apparently the guns they use in the film are all CG. Like they don't use actual props. Like just prop guns, like they're just fucking CG guns, which I don't understand if that's even real. So I can't even take that into like when the person told me, is that even a real fucking thing? I don't even want to assume that that's real. Like I want to assume that they could make them out of cardboard. I could give a fuck that they did not use the money to make fucking CG guns. But we'll have to see what happens. And apparently, like the first 20 minutes of like the first episode is gory as fuck. Like the way that, you know how like in the video game or even in Star Wars, someone gets shot and the blaster does like a spark Power Ranger kind of thing and burns. No, you got people's exploding and fucking limbs and body parts and.
Well, you know what? I'm all for that.
I'm all for that shit, dude. I was like, yo, if it's like Starship Trooper bloody, like you don't even have to have fucking dialogue, dude. If it's just like that the whole time.
Seriously,
dude.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm really, the thing that concerns me now is that the story is going to be the thing that they're going to fuck up. Like that's going to be the thing. And I mean, you can't fuck up Halo. I mean, not as much as like the last game.
Or you can. I mean, they're going to.
I mean, you really have to be good at fucking shit up to fuck up Halo, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like, man, it's been sit on for so, and that's why I'm so scared for the Metal Gear Solid movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge fucking fan of Metal Gear Solid. Isaac, what's his name? Oscar Isaac's been approached. He wants to play Solid Snake. Apparently, like 2 days ago, they approached Chris Pratt to play Solid Snake, which I was like, please God, no.
Yeah.
Please God, no. Like Chris Pratt, I love the guy. He's fucking funny. But if it's not like a fucking hardcore Rambo fucking, what's that dude's name? Mads Mikkelsen, like someone like a stoic kind of dude.
Okay,
like, I don't want any other type of person to play that role. No fucking pretty boys, no nothing like that. Oscar Isaac's he's a stern looking motherfucker too.
He's a G, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him, man. And of course, he's actually a really, really big fan of the Metal Gear Solid story. So that's something that I'm really, really excited for. The Moon Knight story, excited for. But yeah, sorry about that. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I just wanted to make sure. I'm glad that you came on the show tonight in good spirits, because if you weren't, I just had, you know, a little nugget of some good news for you, sir, just in case you were having a bad day. But
Shoot.
you know, I'm gonna give it to you anyway because you know, blessings on blessings on blessings, you know. So I don't know if you heard, but what's the actor that's gonna play Namor? Tanach.
Oh, the Mexican dude. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Mexican dude.
he's on location, bro.
I
It's happening.
heard.
It's happening, bro. It's coming to reality.
I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm excited. He was seen in, was it Puerto Rico? No, like Cuba.
Puerto
I
Rico.
forgot.
No, it's Puerto Rico. It was Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but he got seen on the Black Panther site.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
He's
where
on the
they're shooting.
he's on location at the Black Panther location where they're filming.
Yeah, so you know, my favorite character, my new favorite character is gonna be in the Black Panther movie. So because he doesn't have your support,
My new favorite character.
he doesn't have your support, but he'll have my support. God damn
Yeah,
it.
do you watch Rick and Morty, dude?
Yes, I do.
Did you ever see the episode of season 5 with that one guy that comes out and he's like, "It is me, the king of the sea," or whatever? Did you know what I'm talking about? That's exactly what Namor is, dude. That's literally exactly what he's gonna do. He's like that with fucking with Reed Richards' wife, Sue Richards. He's always trying to hook up with Miss Ford, dude. Oh, that is so fucking fantastic. He comes out there, he's all G like that. Hey, dude, I'm excited. Like, I'm okay. So, like, I mean, yeah, I shit on it constantly, and it's okay. And the reason why Rick hates that dude, it's such a fucking funny episode, though, man. I know I shit on it a lot, and the reason why I shit on it is because like Mexicans, we're not near the sea. Like it's just what it is. Like that's just what it is. We're on land, we're in fields, we're fucking doing shit with corn. Like we're in temples, we're Aztec people, man. Like that's what it is. Mr. Nimbus, there you go. Nimbus, oh dude, he controls the police. Go take off your clothes, have sex with each other, now leave. Fucking episode was rad, dude. I know I shit on it a lot, like I was saying. The Aztecs and the history of the Mexican culture, like it's very diverse. But you know what? Like it's like I said, like that guy, man, he's gotten jacked for some roles before. He played a Mexican wrestler in one of the films. I think he played like the El Diablo Azul, which is like an old school Mexican wrestler from like all history. And you know, he was a lucha libre that was turned into like almost like a vigilante superhero in like TV shows, like you know, like Batman in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And for that role, like he got pretty maton. Like he got some good mass behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So to see this dude like G up with his badass like slick like fucking like hair and the badass pop collar with the, you know, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. That's literally what I could say. What I want to kind of see is like, it would be very interesting if they took that Mayan culture that disappeared from the temples from like one day to the next. I don't know if you remember that in history. Now there was this situation that happened where like out of nowhere, like this one temple, I think in like Tenochtitlan, like the temple, like the people just up and vanished out of nowhere. It's like conspiracy theories. People thought like fucking aliens or that they fucking went up to space because of the temples and astrology and shit. It was more of the sense that I believe it was the way that they had their sewage and all this stuff that was starting to ruin their foods and things, and the people had to leave because of like sicknesses and stuff like that, like culture wise. But can you imagine if that was the case and they were like, oh hey dude, like the Mayan culture was actually like Atlantis, and they figured out a bunch of shit, and then like they were messing with let's just make up some shit and say they were messing with some immortal or not immortal, some celestial technology. Like that's like a Apocalypse, your dude. He became super strong because he acquired celestial technology, and they said you could have it, but we'll someday need you to repay us or we'll come return it back. But the way that this could be done is like the Atlanteans or the Mayans had that technology and they were doing the same thing, but the Celestials came back for it. Yeah. And they ruined the whole place, and then they had to learn to survive. I wouldn't know how it would change to be where then they can like breathe underwater and shit. Like I wouldn't understand that. That would be the harder thing. And the reason why I say that is because Namor is known as one of the first mutants, if not the first mutant, because he was a mutant that helped Captain America in World War II. So like he's been around for like a super long time. So I'm kind of interested in what they're going to do. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, I know we're going to probably cut this in a little bit because it's already getting to that time. Have you heard the news about the Black Panther stuff yet?
Not other than the fact that Angela Bassett said that it was better than the first, which I'm pretty sure she has to fucking say. But no, I haven't heard anything else about it.
That's really hard to say, dude, because that's some really heavy shoes to fill, right?
I heard her say it, and I'm like, I get why you would say that, but I doubt it. But whatever.
I really doubt it. Apparently, Shiri is gonna deny. She's gonna be the one that has taken over when T'Challa was snapped away. So she's going to be sitting on the throne as the emperor or empress at the time. So she's going to apparently take like the herb and be the Black Panther of that time, which will be a cool concept because it does correlate with the story of him being taken and there being a 5-year gap. You can't have a kingdom of Wakanda without a king for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like that needs to be put in right away.
Yeah.
But apparently that towards the ending of the story, it's going to be M'Baku.
Yeah, no, I heard that there's going to be multiple Black Panthers in this movie. It's not going to be just one. It's going to be multiple. I did hear the 2 of them. And honestly, Letitia Wright never wanted to be. She never wanted to play Black Panther. She never wanted to. She gave in. I think they gave her a little bit more money. She gave in and she said, "Okay, I'm only gonna do this for this one movie, so don't get comfortable with this shit."
It's a small role. It's a small role.
Yeah, I'll do it for this one movie because her allegiance to Chad and it just didn't sit right with her.
Yeah,
you know. But I guess for the sake of the movie and I guess for the sake of Ryan Coogler, she gave in and she did it, and you know. But yeah, I heard that there's gonna be multiple Black Panthers in this movie. That's why if you had just recasted Black Panther, we wouldn't be having this fucking problem, and there wouldn't be so many rumors coming off that set saying that this movie is gonna be shit. And I hope you don't turn out a fucking shit movie for Black Panther 2. And this is not what I need right now in my life. I don't need that type of negativity in my life, bro.
No, I don't think it's gonna be shit. I really, really don't. And the reason why is because I think there's just a lot of heart that follows this film for what happened with Chadwick. I think a lot of people, do or die, people are going to embrace this film. That's what I really, truly think. I mean, Black Panther 1, it was an okay movie. Like, it wasn't like the best thing on the planet. It was literally almost The Lion King. And I think everybody can agree with that. Could it have been better? Did it follow a different key? Yeah, there could have been a bunch of different things they could have done with it. But it was fine. It was good for what it was. And it was a great movie. But I just think that either way, slowing it down to a slow crawl, I really think it's going to do some good stuff. Hey, man, we got a special guest. Look who just jumped in, man. Check this dude out. It's Rigger.
Yo.
What's up, man?
What up?
Jumping on right before we almost close out, dude.
I know, man.
It's good to see you, Trix. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Was catching like the last little bit of the show. I got cut kind of early. It's still pretty dead in the bars. You know, everyone's essentially still recovering from spring break.
How's the new job, man? How's it going?
How's it going?
Good, man. Good. As a matter of fact, you know, talking about blessings on blessings on blessings. Heard that. You know, shout out to my boy Brian. I got a second job.
Congratulations,
boy, making that break, kid.
And I got an even bigger job opportunity through my new job, because the new job that I'm looking at, that I was pretty much hired for, is going to be at a liquor store. And so for the people who know me, I've been in the
bar scene, man. Sure, bartending.
Yeah, you know, and I have worked at a liquor store before. I actually worked at a U.S. Liquor here in Edinburgh, and I worked there for a good amount of time. And you know, then I went on to other things. Well, I was hired at another liquor store, but this liquor store that I'm working at is supposed to be in conjunction with a liquor sales position for Mexcor International, which I was also offered and will be taking later on.
Very good. Very good.
Perfect.
I like it. Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
congratulations,
man. So,
congratulations.
Yeah, I heard all the Namor stuff. Yeah, I heard that homie's on location right
Yep.
now. As soon as I heard that, I was like, well, Namor's in the movie.
Yeah, dude, that's super fucking exciting, man, because that's gonna bring in.
My theory about that is that Namor wasn't snapped, and that he's like, well, Wakanda's defenseless now.
Yep.
Time to go after it.
Shit.
And that's going to be a great fucking story because of the fact that, like, yes, the turmoil in the first Black Panther movie was good amongst itself, like the inner turmoils and the family story and all that stuff. But the battling in the comic books for Wakanda versus Atlantis,
Always,
dude,
monumental.
it is
Monumental.
epic.
It goes on
It's
for
gonna be
thousands of years. That is like a millennium long like fight between these two people.
Yo, I'm not trying to fight no one for 1,000 years, bro. Like
They are.
I'll give you a good, I'll give you a good day, and I'm like, you know what, you got it, bro.
You got
Whatever,
it, man.
you got
Leave
it.
it
No,
alone.
man.
no, no.
I'm
Like what
done,
I
yo.
mean is like Namor's ancestors and T'Challa's ancestors had been fighting for like 1,000 years.
Yeah, man. I don't
it's wild,
got
man.
that
It's really,
animosity
really wild.
in me, man. Fuck
Yeah,
that,
bro.
man.
Like,
But you know
like
what?
they
Like,
were about it.
it's gonna bring in such a cool like a kingdom versus kingdom vibe.
Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah.
Like during our time period of it being like the 21st century, like having that royal-esque like fantasy like knights versus knights kind of vibe, bro.
this
That's
is
gonna
a very
be
this is a very
epic.
reminiscent like throwback to well, not even throwback, because like this story came about long before this one did. Would be Flashpoint, where you saw the Atlanteans.
Oh, the
versus,
Atlanteans versus like the
you know,
Amazonian
versus
women.
the
That's a
Amazon.
very now I'm familiar with that one. That one's very interesting. I do
That's fucking
like
cool.
that little dynamic that they had with the
So that's where you're gonna kind of see like two distinct kingdoms kind of being pissed off at each other. You know, this is the McCoys and Hatfields or whatever, Hatfield
Yeah.
and McCoys
From the-
Like the
yeah.
feuds, man. The
Yeah,
feuds.
and you know, like this is like, well, you did this, well, you did that, and well, you fucked my sister, and whatever, and there you go. And so, I mean, you're gonna see a really, really interesting dynamic. I still don't like the actor. I don't care. Namor is still in the I still think he's a fuck. Every time he dies in the comic books, I'm like, yeah.
At least Chris was a little bit more reserved about it. Yo, Trigger's like, man, fuck him, yo, I'm out.
Yeah,
No,
dude, for real.
but this is what I was saying. Like, I'm saying that right now, we've reached a pinnacle in Marvel that it's not following the reference of the comic book anymore. It's now just kind of going with its own thing. So,
And
like
I-
right
and
now,
I
they really
said-
have
and
the
I
opportunity
said
to
on
fix a
multiple
lot of
occasions
these
that was
characters.
going to happen.
Yeah, sooner or later, we knew we were going to get to this level, and it was either going to be where they continued the shit that they're making in comics right now, or they're going to fix the mistakes they've done and get people to like these characters, and then get them back into comic books. And I know, Brian, you were talking to me earlier, and you were like, "Hey, dude, have you caught up with all this stuff that's going on in Marvel right now?" And I was being real casual with it because I really haven't read anything off of my pull in a while. But you had mentioned that they're going to start doing this story called Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Right. And what that is they're about to introduce a character that's super risque a long time ago, known as the grandfather or the uncle or something, which is Thanos' grandfather, who's an Eternal, who was also
He's
kind of
OG
like a
Eternal.
He's
That
like
guy is like
Eternal.
That guy's like first generation Eternal. Believe it or not, there are 3 generations of Eternals.
Yeah, and that guy's like, that's dicey shit. Like, that's like, he's hard.
That guy was like the first generation of Eternals, because you know how in the Eternal movie, they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, like if it dies, we just make a new one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even then, there was still like, okay, these were the Eternals that we got right the first time. We're gonna make them a little bit better. And then you have the generation that Salma Hayek's character, that Salma Hayek's character is in. That's like her and like Gilgamesh and Angelina Jolie. Those are like the second generation.
That's because they were still lacking, I think, one of the Eternals, which is the guy that's like Zeus. The All-Father Eternal.
Zurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like he's the main dude. They didn't even put him in the movie.
Yeah, and then Icarus, that's third generation.
Yeah.
So Thanos' grandfather is like first gen.
Yeah, he's like a G. He's like, literally in the comic book, he's like, oh, I heard about that whole you snapped half the universe. Wow, what a shit job. Again, doing half the job. And I was like, this fucking dude, man. I was like, this wild. But then again, it's like I told you, like the thing is they need to reinvoke what the Eternals are to get the momentum from the movie into the comics.
But do you feel as though they need to do that at the expense of changing some of your beloved, I guess, like the lore that you love about it? Like, because I know from what I heard, and I'm not, don't quote me, but from what I heard is what they're planning on doing is saying that the X-Men are actually deviants.
Well, okay, so that's
point,
actually
I'm ready
been
for
like
that.
a subreddit kind of conversation for comic book fans for a very long time.
Okay.
That the mutant gene came from a mixture of the human and the deviant gene collapsing and coming together and them creating from that. It's
And
not
at
too
this
far
point-
fetched, but
at
it was
this
just
point,
never
I would be
given
okay
that way.
with that because
Okay.
like that would, within the MCU realm of things, that would give a somewhat okay narrative of how mutants came into be.
Became into
All
be.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and even with that,
you go the
there's
original
been
way,
situations where deviant and Eternals like marry and date. Thena's character bangs that one deviant like all the time.
they have kids, bro.
Yeah, they have kids and shit. You know the one that eats Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I know you're
Yeah,
talking
deviant,
about.
like her and that dude bang like all the time. They date like all the time.
Oh yeah, dude.
So like her job is to kill deviants, but she's out like banging the enemy.
Banging them.
Yeah. So it's like
yeah,
it
dude,
ends
that's
up
some Romeo
becoming
and
the
Juliet
thing where
shit.
it ends up being where the mission is clouded. And some of the Eternals are like, no, this is the way things are. And Thena's like, well, fine, fuck you, I'm out later. And then she leaves the Eternals, and the other Eternals are like, well, fuck that bitch, let her go do her own thing or whatever. And then when shit pop off, that's when they go after the deviants. It wasn't until like maybe like 2004 to like 2007 that they had written it in where the deviants and the Eternals were kind of like, look, we hate you, but we're gonna learn to coincide with you. Just don't fuck around too much. Like, don't come into the surface.
Yeah.
Like, you guys stay in the underground. Because if you come up, we wipe you out. Like, they kind of had like some kind of weird ass pact going on for a bit.
Okay.
But then again, the Eternals weren't. Then they didn't come back up in comic books. Like, that's as far as the comic book got. Right now, since of course the Avengers Endgame came out, you know, Thanos is dead in that story or gone. The Eternals movie just came out. Thanos recently just came back in the comic books, and the first thing he did was went after the Eternals. Like, he went to go wipe them out, which is the people he comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So now it just so happens that, remember, and I told you, like, the Marvel universe is probably the worst place to live because every week you're trying to fucking survive some fucking universal apocalypse and you just want to go get milk.
Bro,
Like,
I'd
you
rather
just
live in
wanna-
the
you just
MCU
want to go to
than
work,
Gotham.
you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, I'd still rather live in the MCU than in Gotham.
Oh yeah, fuck that. Yeah, fuck Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham's crazy as fuck. It's full
Yeah,
of water
fuck
now.
that.
It's full of water now. it's Atlantis now. But
Yeah, dude.
but like I said, you had asked me about it, and I'm just like, I'm so checked out in the way the Marvel universe is right now. Like, not in the movie universe, but like the comic books, where every week is a world-ending event. Like, go back to doing some just like normal shit, kick off for a little bit, and then later on bring us something. Like, they literally just got done doing.
Like, it's super weird that you mentioned that because I remember having that exact same like thought, and I was like, bro, it must suck to live there. But then you like find out that like a lot of these stories like happen at the exact same time.
Yeah, they're like weeks apart.
Yeah,
They're literally
some
like
of them-
weeks apart.
Yeah, but some of them happen literally at the exact same. Like, remember, Civil War and Annihilation Wave.
Yeah,
happened
fucking right next to each other. Oh yeah, at the same
literally
time. Yeah, yeah.
happened at the exact same time.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Fucking dude. Oh man, the Marvel universe, not the cinematic universe, the comic book world is where the Judgment Day story does have my attention though, because I want to see
Me
what they're
too.
gonna do with the grandfather character. I want to see with what they're gonna do with someone who is as or just tougher than Thanos. That's meaner. Like, I want to see what they're gonna do with that. Plus the idea of the grandfather coming back. And now you telling me that the story is that mutants are actually descendants of deviants, knowing that he is a first generation, he's going to want to wipe out all the X-Men.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's going to be his first fucking mission.
Yeah.
So right now, that already makes the X-Men comic books 20 times better than what they've been in the last like 5 years.
Mm.
Because all it's been is mutants chilling out on an island, rebirthing themselves. Them fighting over some weird
I like
swords.
Swords of 10. I like Swords of 10. That was cool. But the last time I was truly invested in the X-Men was Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
That,
me, the last time I was
great
invested
story that
was
I read.
Inhumans versus X-Men because of the Terrigen Mist story of how Cyclops dies.
Yeah.
Because that was crazy because it's literally like an 8-part book, Brian.
Okay.
And Cyclops throughout the entire story wages war against the Inhumans. And then at the end of the story, you end up finding out that Cyclops actually died in the first episode because of the Terrigen Mist, because it poisons them.
Yeah.
And Emma Frost actually made a construct in everybody's brain that Cyclops was still alive. And he was leading everybody to war. Emma Frost was literally taking everybody to war against the Inhumans. And fucking Cyclops died in like the first episode of like poison. Like in the most bitch ass way, dude. Like he died like just like a normal dude. But the battle scene at the end with him like quoting and all that other stuff was like it was good. It was good.
See, I like the way that they've always done Cyclops. I really have. Like Cyclops next to Professor Xavier, you know, and Magneto have some of the greatest X-Men character development ever.
Yep.
You know, there's only so much Wolverine of I'm a torn 200-year-old man that I can stand, you know, with 3 kids. Okay, dude, cool. I've seen the same shtick for the past 15 years. Sick. But in the past 15 years, we've gotten Professor Xavier, who was like the hugest, you know, proprietor of equality with humans, to turning into like, you know what, fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
And then we have Scott, who's like, yo, fuck everybody, dude. Like,
yeah, Scott got real hard, man.
If you can't deal with me, then I'm just gonna eliminate you. That's it.
He ended up following Magneto more than Charles later.
And then Magneto is like, you know what, dude? Like I'm glad you're seeing things my way, but I respect how you do things. Because like in the 3rd X-Men movie where, you know, Pyro's like, man, I would have killed myself. And he was like, hey, you little fucker, you know, my greatest regret is that man had to die for our dream to live. Yeah. That is like A1 classic respect between the two.
Yo, Brian.
The two of them have always respected each other.
Shit, I forgot to ask, man, and I wanted to ask you on camera in the show. Tell me about your Attack on Titan experience, man.
Oh shit. Bro. It's just dope, yo. It's just dope. I do like it, like each season progressively. Season 4 has been a mind fuck, to say the least.
You're caught up all the way, right?
I'm almost caught up. I will be ready by the season by the finale in the next week or 2.
What episode are you on right now?
I'm on episode 10 of 4.
Okay.
Season 4.
So I'm like 5 got released already, right?
Yeah, no, they're on season 4 right now, I believe.
Oh, okay.
This is the final season. So what's part of the show are you on right now? What was the last thing you remember?
The last thing that I remember is they're going back in. Well, it might be a little bit before 10. I think I know that they're going back in like 3 years prior to where Aaron just went off the fucking rails, and he's like a loose cannon now. And dude, I think like the first episode when he shows up in Marley, and he's like underneath these motherfuckers, and he's like, bro, I know where I'm sitting right now. I'm underneath like a whole bunch of these motherfuckers right now. And as soon as he says that, you're like, oh man, he's gonna fuck everybody.
You're on that episode right now?
No, I'm past that one.
Oh,
but that
was wild.
That episode had me blown away. I'm like, yo, he's changed, bro. Like,
oh yeah, dude, he's about it. Like, he's done.
My favorite scene.
There ain't no more reasoning with him.
Yeah, no, he's done. He's done with you, motherfucker.
My favorite part in that entire part was he's attacking the armor titan, not the armor titan, but the hammer, the Warhammer titan.
The Warhammer, yeah.
And he's trying to figure her out, and not the card titan, but the DiaZ titan.
Okay, yeah, the one, yeah.
And he fucking throws him down and breaks her. Mikasa cuts his jaw open. Remember?
Yeah.
and he puts his ass on the ground, and the episode ends with all the scouts like circling around him like
Circling
bees,
around, yeah.
dude, like wasps. But the fear in the Titan's eyes, it's so poetic because you remember all the way to the first season, the scouts were the ones that were always so scared of all the Titans.
Yeah.
And now the Titans are fucking scared of this. It's so fucking good.
Why is Aaron why is Aaron so OP?
Oh, dude, and that's because you haven't gotten to the newer stuff yet. You're still a little bit far behind, but yeah, man, it gets wild when you find out.
It gets crazy.
You haven't gotten to you haven't gotten to the time episode, right?
Not yet.
Okay, no. So I don't even want to explain any more past that, because if I explain that,
it's gonna
it takes away from the whole masterpiece of what this film's about.
Okay,
like it really, really does, and it's like I've told you before, like they treat time in this fucking beautifully, dude. Beautifully. I can't wait for you to see that episode so I can tell you about all the cool Easter eggs that you've missed and that you'll know about.
So this isn't a spoiler at all whatsoever, but they treat time travel as a reflection, not as a change.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they deal with time travel. Is that time travel is more of a reflection, than it is a opportunity to change something. Now I'm not going to go anything else past that because, like, Chris knows, like, I'm not a big fan of Attack on Titan. I read the last,
man, it's so good.
Yeah, no, and it's
no, I can see that though. I can see that. I can see how some
generation's masterpiece. It really is.
No, and trust me, it's a beautiful story. But I read like the last 25 issues.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know what's going on. I've had a lot of people like down my throat, like, oh my God, Attack on Titan is the best thing ever. And like, and cool, man, let them have it. Like their opinion isn't wrong. Their opinion isn't valid. Yeah, it's just not for me. I read the Holocaust. Cool. I read the Holocaust. I know what happened.
Brian, as a matter of fact, do you get what I was talking about the diversity and how it's like it's a really good storytelling of like the whole like the race thing and how people treat these people it's so fucking wild, right?
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up,
man.
And honestly, I don't understand like the whole Titans that are living on Marley. They got a whole like Stockholm syndrome type of thing going on, dude. Like I don't fucking understand that shit. Like I don't understand
the ones that are like the brainless ones.
Well, no, the ones that live on Marley that like
the soldiers, the ones that are trained to be like
the ones that view themselves as they're called elders, whatever. They basically trick themselves to think, oh well, we're some piece of shit race because we're not even supposed to be here, and we should be lucky to be over here. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah, like they got some Stockholm syndrome shit. Like I don't understand.
Man, that's why, like, and like I hate to put it in this context, right? But like I read the Holocaust, right? You had Polish and German, Nazi sympathizers, and like you had people who enacted these terrible things, in the name of the Nazi regime. Thus I say, like, I was like, well, I mean, I've read the Holocaust, dude, like I know what it's about. I've seen Attack on Titan. Cool. But like, granted, like looking past the atrocities of, 1945, Attack on Titan is a beautiful story because you never ever see character development like Aaron's in anime. Ever.
You're gonna trip balls when you get to like
listen. All I know is this. All right. These motherfuckers in order better not get fucking touched. All right. Levi, number 1. Don't fucking touch him. Okay. I'm gonna lose my shit if Levi gets touched, bro. Mikasa. She better not get touched. You know what? Yo, dude, take fucking what the fuck is the little bitch ass motherfucker I don't like? Yeah, take him, bro. Man.
Take him.
Take him, bro.
No, he's gonna get some character development, man.
Fuck him, bro. He's a bitch, bro.
You're gonna dig him, man.
All right, maybe.
You're gonna dig him. Believe me, man.
Yeah, dude. Like I want to say his last 10 issues in the manga are like his saving grace.
Oh, and Hanji better not get fucking touched either, bro.
Oh, she's so cool.
Leave her the fuck alone. I listen. You can take Aaron. I don't listen. I'm not even a big Aaron fan, to be honest with you, bro. Like, I'm not even a big Aaron fan. I'm more of a Levi guy, bro. That's my guy.
Yo, the way they make his
Levi.
action scenes are so fucking G.
Levi's the fucking guy. That's my dude, yo.
The way he attacks what's his face? Fucking Zeke. The Beast Titan, the way he fucks the Beast Titan up.
Yo, he keeps fucking him,
dude.
He keeps fucking him up, bro. Like, yo, leave my man alone.
So there's this YouTuber, and he talks about, and like he gets real black about like his anime, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about the Zeke thing, and you know how like Zeke is like with the other Titans, and he's like, all right, so we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. It's just a bunch of scouts. Don't even worry about it. But Levi's with them. Yeah, okay, so what's up?
That one motherfucker.
Yeah, and he was like, but no, wait, hold up. Levi's there. And they're like, he's like, yeah, dude, what about him? He was like, all right, bro. And he was like, well, what's up, bro? Like, talk your shit, you know, what's up? And he was like, look, bro, I'm just saying, Levi is certified unfuckwittable. Right? Certified
unfuckwittable.
Yo, the most badass scene, it was from the 3rd season, and that was when Levi finally got his hands on Zeke the first time when he was the fucking
shoved the knife in his mouth through his eyes.
Yes, you showed me that. You remember that night you showed me that?
Yeah.
That scene where he leaves, Zeke leaves and ends up meeting up with
Aaron.
with Aaron.
Yeah.
And he looked up and he saw fucking Levi. His eyes were all whited out and misting and shit like that. I was like, holy shit, that was the illest shit ever, bro. Levi looked
certified
badass,
dude.
Yo, that's my guy. He's probably gonna die at some point, but I'm gonna be pissed about it because that's my guy, yo. Like,
what else? What about
A1?
Gene, John, Sasha, Coney?
Sasha fucked me up, yo. Why they
already got to that scene?
Yeah, why they do that to Sasha, bro?
Gabby did you dirty.
Gabby did me dirty, bro.
Did you dirty.
Yo, and it was like a whole room full of motherfuckers I don't know. Why couldn't you hit one of them, bro? Like,
why get Sasha?
Why get Sasha?
Like to eat potatoes.
Center mash. It was center mash. No shot. She had no shot of surviving that. Nothing. She was just dead.
I remember that shit. That fucked me up, man. I was so sad that day. I remember that in the manga. I was like, no way, dude. You're going to take Sasha? Like, she's like the most innocent person, dude. Like,
word is born, bro.
No one's safe. No one's safe. The Walking Dead all over again. It's word fucking up. Egan just walked in.
Yeah, no, that fucked me up, bro. That fucked me up. Sasha getting shot.
Like I said, I'm really, really excited you got to see it. Like I said, the second season, you remember what I was talking about when it got into like the court and all that stuff. Yeah. Kind of boring. I think that's where it kind of lost its momentum. But man, dude, it wasn't too long after that it started to fucking pick up again.
Yeah, no, like I said, season by season, it kept progressively getting better and better. Season 3 was good, and honestly, you could have ended, for me personally, you could have ended it right there at season 3. But fucking season 4, they didn't even like waste an episode yet.
Yeah.
Like, each episode, there's something else going on. And I actually worked with a friend that is a big fan of Attack on Titan. And he was saying that there's no way within this last episode that they're going to be able to everything that he knows because he reads the manga as well.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of
the from what I've heard, the series is going to end April like 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire season should end about that time. Okay. A friend of mine actually yesterday told me, how do I feel if they change the ending? Because there were some people that did not like the ending in the manga.
So
I really fucking hope they don't change it.
So there's technically 2 endings to the manga.
Yeah, we can't spoil it though.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's the one that the publisher wanted, and then there's the one that the creator wanted. Now, the publisher got so much shit for their ending, and then the creator got just as much because everybody was like, really?
What the fuck?
Really? Now, I'm not saying anything, like I'm hoping that they don't kind of Game of Thrones this and
that's what I'm hoping. Ending. That's what I'm hoping is they don't Game of Thrones this shit.
Yeah, and it's a very real worry because like the ending wasn't underwhelming or anything like that. It was just in a direction where people were like, "Wow, that's kind of where you wanted to go.
I mean, me as a reader, and I mean, I'm pretty prolific when it comes to like the idea on creating a story and a background, and even writing stories. I think
Because
through
me
and
and
through,
Chris
it
talked
was a
about this.
really, really, really fantastic story all the way to the very end. And I thought, like I said, the way they handled the idea of time and how it all correlates together in the very, very end. Because look, with the knowledge that you already know about the show, Brian,
Mhm.
anyone that inherits a Titan has a 12-year lifespan.
That is
You
just
already
now,
know that.
but see, like that is just now being taught to me. It's just now being explained to me in season 4. In the last
Yes, because
season,
that's what's explaining. Because they're explaining to you on how the Titans work. Because you're understanding that each Titan has a job or a special ability,
yeah,
and then the inheritor of the Titan gets at least 12 years after they get to become a Titan. That's
Okay.
the curse of the Titans. So anyone that inherits a Titan, they're not going to get a happy ending. Like, let's
Yeah.
just be fucking honest about it. Like,
Yeah.
so we know for sure that every one of the people that's a Titan right now, 12 years if they live a good life.
Yeah, they have a
Like,
lifespan.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they stop, if they win the war and the Titan people win some shit, then they live 12 years and the Titans get passed on to someone else, someone eats them and they become or whatever. If they don't win, the Titans get wiped out, then there's no more fucking Titans. You know what I mean? They keep the Titans they want, they pass them through the bloodlines like they've always done through history. And the next person 12 years, the next person 12 years, they keep breeding them. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They just keep breeding them. But the story doesn't go that way. Like, it doesn't go in any of those directions. It goes in its own original direction. It gives a great ending to a weird cycle.
Mm.
And it builds off of the idea of what Aaron's character at its core is, which is a person who does not like to be controlled.
Yeah.
In the moment that you bring in some type of outside source that tells him no, he automatically defects and retaliates in such a way
Violently.
that it retaliates aggressively. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
And that's what he does through and through throughout the entire thing. And they make sure that that is shown prominently. But he sticks to his guns in a duality type major that if he chooses to do something, he wants to make sure that if you don't like it, you have a choice too.
Yeah.
That just because I'm doing some shit doesn't mean you can't tell me no. You can stop me if you want. And that's where the core of this story makes it so fucking amazing. Yeah. Like, I'm so excited for you guys to know how this story ends. I know, Trigger, you said you've read into it a little bit more.
Oh,
I read the entire. I read the entire
don't
series.
remember the discussion you and I had.
And I fucking loved it. I loved it. It made me go back to rewatch the entire seasons because I didn't believe the Easter eggs that people were telling me were there, and I had to go back and watch it and be like, motherfucker, dude, that's literally straight Metal Gear Solid Easter egg work.
Oh shit!
Like, to me, yeah. Like,
you guys got me excited now. Yeah,
and I'm telling you, like, I try to be a person that tries to take these type of things like at a professional level, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of Akira. I think during my time as a child in my teens, when anime was becoming very prolific and people were becoming to get more involved in it, it was coming to the United States. I think by far this was the masterpiece of my time as a young person in my teens. Mm-hmm. And every year there's another one that comes out. There was Fully Cooley, there was Trigun, there was Cowboy Bebop, all generations after the Studio Ghibli stories, all the way through to now Attack on Titan, which I have my poster right here, to Demon Slayer, to Jujutsu Kaisen, which are two other seasons that are becoming very prominent.
Those two you just named right now are my next two that I'm gonna.
They're so good. And then of course My Hero Academia, which is a great story that tells a Eastern variation of Western comic book heroes, but it gets very violent, which makes it so much cooler. Super violent. But yeah, go on, Trigger. I'm sorry. We're trying to get this kind of cut because I know Brian needs to go.
Yeah, man. I would
minutes.
really recommend that you guys look into Dr. Stone if you haven't.
Oh yeah, Dr. Stone too. That one's kind of like it, and it does have actual science behind it.
Yeah, so
like crazy.
Very, very much like a lot of the shonen tropes. What there's two big shonen tropes that you will always find in all shonen anime: the power of friendship and a time skip.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had it. Bleach, Naruto, Demon Slayer had one. Fucking Fairy Tail had one.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z has them. You love
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z had one.
Yeah.
And they all had it. Dr. Stone has it, but Dr. Stone also kind of has the power of friendship. But they also have science, and it was also one of the most original animes I've ever seen. One of the most originals, because
Cool stuff.
yeah, because I mean, you know, like when have you ever seen an anime where the entire world was affected all at once and people are just trying to bring it back?
Yep. Good call. Good call. Yo, Vince Weaver asked before we go, favorite season of Attack on Titan. It would literally have to be the last season because the fucking theme song, the rumbling, is fucking legit, dude. Legit.
Bullshit.
Brian
This
disagrees.
bullshit.
Brian likes season
That
3,
shit is
right?
so weak. Season 3, but not the first, the first iteration of like I don't know, for some reason they change up the intros from like the first couple of episodes to the last couple episodes. The second one for season 3,
Is it the one that's like a ba-na-ta-na,
yes,
oh,
that one,
that one's
motherfucker.
fucking, that was good.
That one,
Yeah, that was good.
that one is hands down the best theme of
That one to me was literally like oh, dude, if you look at the animation that they put behind it, it's literally like almost like a documentary of like a horrible war.
Yeah,
Like, that's the song you play during a horrible war.
yeah.
But the rumbling, the fucking
cool.
the rumbling is so
cool.
good.
But
Like, you have to watch the music video, dude. If you watch the music video, you'll
Bro,
appreciate
it's
it.
so good.
And then not only that, the intro of Eren Yeager standing on the wall,
yeah,
and then him let out the scream while the singer is screaming. Yo, that is fucking awesome, dude. It's awesome because you can imagine Eren Yeager being that way, like screaming and all that stuff, because the lines of the song are literally what's going on in the season. Like, that's what's really, really cool is the song is actually lyric by lyric. Like, I didn't want to be the king. I didn't want to grab the knife. You know, the rumbling's coming. The rumbling's coming. It is fucking.
So
awesome,
it's funny because the guy that I work with, he told me, "Yo, stop looking at the theme, like the big, like the theme music.
Yeah,
when it first comes on because
it's a spoiler.
Because it's a spoiler.
Nah, don't even fuck that. Don't even trip. You're not even have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that shit. Like, straight up, you know, because when you watch it, there's a bunch of shit that's happening, but there's always flashbacks.
Okay.
So you always get lost and you don't really know what's going on. And you know there's fucking Titans, but you just don't know what the rumbling is. Like, the rumbling is what's the name of the song, but you'll understand what all that shit's about later. Plus, in the story itself, while you're watching it, they're gonna explain to you what the plan is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I still don't know. I still don't know what the fuck the plan is right now.
Like, well, okay, so you passed the Warhammer part.
Yeah. Sasha's going.
You're at the part right now where, like, have you been at the part where, like, the Jaegerists have appeared?
Not yet.
No, so you're not at that part yet. You're not at a part with the Jaegerists, which are the people that side with Eren.
Oh, wait. No. Who were the people that crowned Mikasa as like the queen of their fucking?
Okay, so that's the tribe that she's. Remember, I told you that there's different races.
Yeah.
So those are that's the actual Japanese people in the story.
Okay.
Everybody else is fucking German. Eren's German, Armin's German. Mika's is the only Japanese character. That's what these animes do. They always take white people. They're always white people, and they always put one Asian person in. Everybody thinks everybody's Asian. And yeah, that's when you find out about the different cultures that are outside the wall. That there's different continents. There's even like I told you, there's one black guy, which I don't know if you've met him yet. I don't know if you've met him in the story yet.
I think the only black guy that I remember that is visual to me that I'm thinking off the top of my head was the one that
suit, right? He's looking at a suit.
He was the one that got. I don't think he's a significant character, so it doesn't make a difference anyway. But
no, I saw a TikTok about him, and they were like, "Bro, what's it like to be black?" And they were like, "Bro, you can't just ask somebody that."
No, for real, there's
only one black guy. It's only one black guy in the whole series, but he represents the country that's supposed to be like Nigeria.
So wait, it might be the same guy then, because he's the only black guy that I saw, and he was the one that was I don't want to say he was captured, by Aaron and them, but he was like kind of defected from Marley. He's the one.
Yes. Yeah, that's
okay.
him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
him.
okay.
And he's part of a culture that comes from like a Nigerian continent.
Okay.
So
yeah.
he
So
represents that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, like and in most animes, you're not gonna get a lot of people of like ethnic races that much because they always because believe it or not, a lot of Asian people still go with a lot of old school tropes when it comes to drawing people of color. So they don't they right now they try to stay away from it. Yeah, because they don't do very hot with it.
It's probably for the best.
And it's understandable. But that character, pretty solid. Man, I can't wait for you to catch up, man. You're gonna.
It's only gonna take me a few more days. I'll be caught up.
I'm excited. I know you're gonna hit me up. You're gonna be like, "Oh fuck,
what the fuck?" Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Like, what do you have me watching, bro?
Yo, so you already got past Irwin's part 2, right? Irwin, the commander, the blonde-haired commander guy.
He comes back in this one because I know he's dead. He comes back.
He's dead. Yeah, because they gave Armin the other dude. Remember? Yeah, Armin's the dude.
Yeah. He's dead. No, he's super dead, and I don't like him anyway.
That guy's such a G though, man.
That guy's a bitch. What are you talking about? He led his troops into a fucking a fucking suicide mission, bro.
Yeah, there was no other choice.
You have an oversized ape throwing 100-mile-an-hour fucking boulders at me and my guys, bro.
He knew the mission. Like that's the thing. That guy, Aaron's like a soldier. That's why Levi loves him, dude. That's why Levi will die on that cross. Because Aaron is like he's a G though, man.
If I was Levi and I had the choice of whether it be fucking Irwin or Armin, I'd have been listen, fuck both these pussies. I'm taking this shit myself. And I just stuck myself with the shit.
He couldn't. He's not an Eldian.
Oh, that's right.
He can't do that. He's not an Eldian. He's supposed to protect those guys.
Yeah, but screw that, bro. Like honestly, Levi is my favorite character, hands down, not even close, yo.
Well, Levi follows Erwin because Aaron's a G.
Yeah, well, fuck.
Well, that means by default you follow Erwin.
No. He's just a good soldier. That's what that means, bro.
Yo, straight up though, man. When Erwin takes those guys into the end, man, that's such a hard part, man. Because the dude's like, bro, we're gonna die, and he's like, you're gonna die here anyway. So do you want to die a coward or do you want to die a soldier?
Yeah, but
our mission is to go out there. We have to slow this guy down.
But everybody kind of hated him for it right afterwards. Like like people hated that was just that. I don't agree with that move at all.
But he led the charge.
He did.
Yeah, he didn't send everybody out there. He led the charge.
That was stupid. He died like kind of off camera. Like he didn't even show him getting.
He got fucking wiped out like first toss, dude. Fucking first toss, he gets fucking beamed. He's the only dude that's supposed to, guy that just gave you your pep talk that it's gonna be like, it's cool, man. We got this. Boom. Fucking, you're like, nope, I'm out. Fuck this game. I ain't playing this shit.
They didn't even show him get killed,
and he's a constant like a pillar, dude, for Hanj and Levi.
Okay.
Because they all kind of like strive. Because there's a part, and I forgot what part of the season it is, but it's when Aaron is fighting the armor titan, and he like fucking punches him, and Erwin's standing on like a bridge, and the fucking palm of one of the titans like slams into the bridge. But Erwin is such a G that he just doesn't even move because he believes in the plan so much. Like he's just not. There's nothing that phases him. Like he's just like.
That was one thing that stood out weird to me too. You have this fucking ape throwing fucking
rocks,
fucking curveballs. Yeah, throwing curveball boulders, and fucking Levi and Erwin are just having this casual conversation as the world around them is just getting fucking
hammered,
demolished.
Like, but that is such an interesting way that they turn that into a weapon. Like just this dude throwing rocks.
Yo,
like there's this so creative, so fucking creative. But Brian, like I said, I'm so happy that you're catched up to the show. I know you weren't big on it before, and I know you were like, not interested. But I'm so happy you gave it a chance.
It's pretty cool.
I hope it's worth it. All the way to the end. I hope it doesn't fucking Game of Thrones us because I'm gonna be right there with you. Dude. But it's straight up. If by chance, if you ever catch up to the season and you want to get it out of your system and know what happens, there is the manga that you can get to online. You can go to YouTube and type in the next one, and you can read all of them and just catch up just to see what they do. Mappa, the company that's drawing it, is doing such an amazing job on the series. Everyone looks amazing. A little Easter egg, if you don't know, Armin's Colossal Titan, it doesn't have ears.
No shit.
And the reason why is because Armin doesn't want to hear the screams of the dead.
See, that's why he's such a. I don't
He's
like
a
him,
bitch.
Yo, I don't.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh
Come
man,
on, bro.
you're gonna be like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. Like, what?
Nah,
a dude,
man.
You're like, man, what a
Yo,
bitch.
I don't think you guys. I think you guys are underestimating the just. I am just so through with him. First off, he was on my shit list for letting Aaron die in the first place.
Oh yeah, the old man's in Santa Claus's mouth, or what was it?
Like, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
that was his fault. So right off the bat, he's on my shit list. And he's just been slowly but surely becoming more and more a pain in my ass, bro.
Now you know how I feel about Namor.
yo, to understand how much a G Levi is. How did you like the fact that he fucking kicked Aaron in the mouth to the first point he got him after the Warhammer Titan? He was like,
going
fuck all your Titan powers. I don't give a shit.
He was
Snap
going to
your
town.
ass.
Yeah, he was going to town on him, bro.
Dude, Levi,
Only my boy
no
could do
shame,
that, yo.
dude. No fucking fear in that boy's eyes, dude. And
Nah,
he's
man,
like
Levi,
4'1", dude.
Yeah, Levi
Levi's
don't
like a
care,
midget.
dog. He don't care about a fucking Titan. Don't give a fuck about that shit, bro.
Dude, and
He's
like, and in reality, Levi's like 4'7", dude. He's like 4'7". He's so tiny. Boys, do we got anything else going on that we need to mention? Anything else? This weekend, if anybody out here in the Valley, I know Brian's in Jersey, he can't go. One day. We have a small indoor tournament or indoor convention called UCX, United Collectors Expo. Me, Everyday Media, and CC Builds are going to be out there. We'll be doing photos, videos, talking to collectors, talking to people who do gaming and all that good shit. Just going to be out there doing pictures and stuff. So if anybody wants to go out there, it's going to be in Edinburgh at the Convention Center, UCX, United Collectors Expo. It's going to be a fun time. I believe it's like $5 at the door. It's totally fucking worth it. Last time, 300 people showed up. It was fun as fuck. It was great. Triggs, what are you going to say?
And then afterwards, guys, if you guys want, head down to the Bearded Lady at Uptown for Pokemon Night. They're going to be having different Pokemon drinks. All of the Pokemon drinks that you saw on the Bearded Lady Facebook page, I'm the one who made them. So,
nice.
So go see the staff out there. Go get a little bit litty, get a little bit weird, enjoy your Pokemon, adventures out there, and fucking have fun, man.
I like it.
Brian, anything else?
Nah, man, just gonna fuck, man. I don't have any conventions going on out here. I'm just trying to fucking get better and
just getting recovered.
Just get recovered, man.
Bro,
by chance,
man, I got sick and I'm suffering through allergies, man. I feel you, dog.
By chance, just for our listeners, anybody got any recommendation for music? One song you've been blasting, at least one.
Oh,
Goat
shit.
by Polyphia.
Huh?
Goat by Polyphia.
Goat by Polyphia. Oh, yeah. Brian, you got one or no?
I don't think I said it before, but I'll say it again. As Lawson Boy by Nipsey Hussle. That's what I'm playing right now.
Dude, you know what? Speaking on that realm, I've been getting into Pop Smoke a lot more. Invincible, that's kind of one that I've been listening to a little bit more.
It's a pretty,
cool.
That whole album's pretty cool.
I'm going to throw this out there for anyone that is kind of feeling nostalgic and you like Game Grumps. Danny Avidan has a band. It's called Ninja Sex Party. They have an album that they released a couple years ago called Under the Covers. If you guys want to bang it out, it's a really, really great album. It's a lot of old 70s songs, some Michael Jackson, some really, really good. And he has an amazing, amazing fucking voice.
Nice.
So Danny Avidan from Game Grumps. The name of the band is called NSP, Ninja Sex Party. And the album is literally called Under the Covers. Yeah, dude, it's a fucking. I want a name like that. How do I get a fucking name like that? What even is a Ninja Sex Party?
I would love to be there.
The entire band is called Under the Covers. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in on the show. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again to Rick Diaz for coming on the show. That was so cool. The man of the hour. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, got to ask some really good questions. And you want to know what? I was super surprised that he was able to answer the question that was like, how do you feel about the negative comments?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I thought that was a really good question that Michael got to ask him. Michael Murphy was on the show too, our retro man of the hour too. And he answered in such a good fashion. He says, and it's so weird because, us as reviewers and people that talk, we always post up our reviews, never thinking that people like in Rick's position get to ever see those comments, but they do. But they do, you know what I mean? Like, so sometimes like I understand, like me myself, like I'll go out there and say like, oh, Batman, fuck that movie or whatever, it's trash or whatever. But it makes me understand, like having a person like Rick on the show today that, you know, when I do speak of why I don't like something, I should have proper reason to back it up.
Yeah.
Like I should have a proper reason to actually give my opinion and why I feel like it's not a good thing. I can't just go out and be like, it sucks because purple or whatever. Like, I don't want to just be one of the norms that just go with what everybody else says.
See,
you know, Rick was such a great dude.
You know, with that being said, dude,
Oh,
and it's so funny that you mentioned that. I just got to see Batman, and I didn't have as bad of a time as I thought it was going to, but I see where you're coming from.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like when it goes to streaming, I'm going to watch it again. I'm not going to spend money to go watch that shit because I think it's a waste of money. But I do want to watch it again with stream, and I do want to take a little bit more effort into really caring about it. One of my biggest pet peeves about it was the vantage point. There was a movie a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember that back in.
Oh no, Vantage Point was my shit, bro. When it had like different angles of the same thing that happened. I love that movie, by the way.
So whenever a situation like the way it was happens and there's an investigation, the vantage point is always the number one thing you go for. Like, where was the source? How did you get this? So when that picture of that guy and that girl came out, the number one idea would have been like, hey, well, where's this taken from? Like, I see that it's the club, but where did they shoot it? If they would have done that, they would have found the Riddler's apartment at the very first part of the movie because he shot it from his own apartment. So, like, Batman's detective skills, that was one of my biggest, and I don't even like talk about it too much, but to me, that's just like continuity writing. Like, if you're gonna write a story, you have to make it feasible through and through. That's just what it is. So that was my biggest pet peeve, but yeah, it was just fun to tear it apart because Brian was like, man, I just want to shit on this movie. And I got the shit on it, but at the same time, like it didn't deserve all the horribleness that I was saying. Was it a movie I could possibly like? Yeah, I can go back and watch it again, which I will. But
just don't watch it. Just don't watch it with Alex, because then you'll stand no chance. He'll be the battery in your back. Like, this movie fucking sucks, bro.
Fucking Alex will tear that movie up. I do want to go try to check out Halo. I know people are talking about it. I do want to see what the hype is. Probably fire stick it. Trigger, I don't know if you heard yet, but it looks like they've announced that they are doing the Richard Rider Nova story. That's the Marvel space movie that they're talking about right now.
Good.
So they're doing Nova. I really think it's going to be Richard Rider into Alexander since they're going to do it, but we'll see how it goes. But we'll save that for another show. Ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you so much to all the people that came in, checked us out, joined the show with us, enjoyed having our special guest on. Triggs, thank you for coming on. You came in out of nowhere. Brian was already probably really tired by that time, but you came in.
You guys came and squeezed another hour out of me.
Yeah,
bro.
we literally squeezed another fucking hour out of it. We reinvigorated the situation.
Right? I mean, I gave Brian his second one.
And Brian, I'm so happy you got to watch Attack on Titan. Gets us more relatability, something else to talk about, which is very, very cool. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on the show. We appreciate every one of you. Guys, if you don't follow us yet, join us on Spotify, join us on iTunes, join us on any of your podcast apps that you guys follow. Hit us up, The Average Boys Podcast. We are there. We've been there for a while. 90 something to 100 episodes of all nerd talks. Anything you need to know, it's there. Guys, again, thank you so much. See you guys again next Friday here live on the show. Average Boys Podcast every Friday night. Facebook. You know what's up. We love you. See you again next Friday.
Peace.